Thank you, Lauren.
Good evening, Westwood, and welcome to Flahi Field for tonight's Wolverine football coverage between the visiting Framingham High School and your Westwood Wolverines. Folks, joined as always by Tom Lydon, Morgan Donahue here. We also have Michael McGrail on the camera for your non-league matchup tonight, and we are excited. Tom, non-league game, a little dress rehearsal for a big game coming up in about 2 weeks.
That's exactly how you have to look at it. That and the fact it's another bonus home game. You know, would we have liked to see these guys advance and go further into the MIAA playoffs? No question about it. But now the focus, yes, is on tonight, but a part of tonight's focus is on just getting back on the right track and getting the oil back flowing through the machine and getting these guys ready for what's going to be a very important game on Thanksgiving morning.
Absolutely. We just had a national anthem sung by Lauren Busa. Tom, she's 3-0 on national anthems.
I was wondering if you were keeping track of that.
Looking to go 4-0.
Undefeated.
She's terrific, and Wolverines play terrific after she sings the anthem. Ball kicked on the sideline, stays inbounds, and it's going to be down by the Wolverines inside the 20.
Recovered by the Wolverines.
Recovered,
yeah.
My goodness. I could have completely mental block there. Recovered by the Wolverines. Hot start.
That is the way that you want to start a football game, to get the ball gift wrapped for you on the 17-yard line.
Yeah, try to get a number. It's getting celebrated by his teammates on the sideline. 81 for the Wolverines. The 81 with the recovery. That is Teddy McGowan, the freshman.
Teddy. Dreamt of a moment like that.
Big play for the freshman.
On the first play of the
Unbelievable.
game.
Congrats, Teddy. You're going to remember that for a while. A special moment, I'm sure, for the family. The Wolverines going to take it on the 17-yard line. We got, looks like 3 receivers up top, 1 down low. Martucci set off to the left. Pindell takes the snap. He's looking for the backside of the end zone and overthrows Toole. Oh.
So it'll be fun to see what Brad can do, right? I don't know how much he played. Were you at the game last week? Yeah?
Yes.
How much, if at all, did he play last week?
So last week, you talking about Ty?
Yeah.
So I left around the third quarter, but it was basically Holland had played most of the game.
Got it.
Tewksbury was a terrific team.
No question.
You know, they were getting turnovers, and then they were making Westwood pay, and they are a very good team. It's going to be second down now. Snap handed off to Martucci. He's got some space and able to get about 10. So a nice, tough run there by Dante Martucci.
When a team comes off a loss like these guys did, you know the first thing they want to do is just have something positive happen. So if they can get this opening drive capped off with a touchdown, it's a picture-perfect start.
Absolutely. Get into a nice routine.
Third down and 1.
Third down and 1. It's going to be handed off to Martucci. He gets downhill. He's looking to continue to get positive yardage, and he's going to be – we'll see what the refs say. It looks like they're going to say he's down by
Down inside the 2-yard
the
line.
2-yard line. Forward progress stop there. It looked like he had additional progress a little later in the run, but they're going to call it the 2.
He got the push probably after the forward progress was stopped.
First down, first and goal, Wolverines.
So we got a first down for the Wolverines, and we're going to get kind of a jumbo style offense. We got we got Dawson Rose off to the left. We have Donegan off to the right. Martucci behind Pindell. Hand off to Martucci, heading left, and he gets in for a touchdown. So off of the McGowan turnover on the kickoff, able to get the ball for Westwood. Westwood goes in, scores an early touchdown, and it was no less than 1 minute and 7 seconds.
If you're a late arriving crowd, it's your own fault. You got to get here in time.
I lied. There was a couple minutes on there, so that the clock was running.
107, you're good. You had it right.
107,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Don't doubt yourself.
I was thinking 15 minutes for a second, but
Morgan Donahue, math whiz.
yes. So John Bertone to kick the extra point.
There is no play. There is a flag.
How much of a nice surprise has he been?
Unbelievable.
I mean, for him to come on, he was not the kicker at the beginning of the year.
No.
And we were here completely misidentifying him in the last home game, but that's okay. We all learn our lessons.
So he wasn't even on the team in the beginning of the season. So he came in later.
Crazy.
He said, I can kick a little bit. He said, we'll give you a look.
Yeah.
We're going to get the Wolverines going to send the offense back out here to go for 2.
All that dramatic setup for a kick from Bertone, and he gets yanked off the field.
I have a feel we'll see a few. So we got Dawson Rose and Donegan, fullback positions. Martucci off to the left, gets the handoff, goes right up the middle again. So converts the 2-point conversion to put Westwood up 8-0 early on here in the first quarter.
Morgan, I think some people are wondering if there was just a glitch in their video because that was the exact,
Same play.
It's like, okay, we're going to do that again.
No, that's old school where the coach says, you know what, we're going to run the same play until you stop us. You know, it's that's a play that worked well. I mean, you got big offensive line to run behind, and it's an offensive line that's been terrific all season. When you look at Peter Mills on the playing on the tackle with Mario Vinci at the guard, Gianni Martucci at center, Klema, Ben Rosa, and then you got the fullbacks in Donegan and Rose. I wouldn't want to take a hit from those guys.
No, I mean, that comes down to the work in the weight room,
Yep.
to the dedication to strength development, and these guys have done a really good job.
Thomas Warren to kick off for the Wolverines.
So Warren going to kick off for the Wolverines. Had a great one in the last one. He's going to try another sideline kick. This one's going to go out of bounds. So flag goes in the air. And Framingham will take it. I believe it's around the 40 they put it.
What's ironic about that is that first kick
Yeah.
was going out of bounds,
Yeah.
and then it took like this wild hop, and I think Framingham never expected it to kick back in bounds. So on that kick, you can be sure that he literally watched that ball go out of bounds.
I think we need to bring that guy Brinkus who does the sports science to tell us how that stayed in bounds, because the science doesn't make any sense.
No, and if we paired him up with Steve Kornacki,
Yes.
Yeah. get them working
Yeah,
on
work
all
the
the
board.
numbers.
Yeah.
On a Friday in November, it would bounce this way.
5 yards added.
So Framingham offense is going to take the field. They're going to have
First down and 10.
2 receivers up top, 2 receivers down low.
38-yard
Running
line.
back set off to the right. Quarterback for Framingham, David Fabrini. They have a good running back, number 22, Nick Duarte. Very impressive running back. So keep an eye on him. It's going to be handed off right from for a gain of about 5. Not sure who the running back is. Let's see if we can get a look.
This is where I got it.
I'm going to say it's Duarte for the time being.
They got tough numbers to read.
They do. They
I
got
have to-
white on white
Yeah,
jerseys.
I got the binoculars, so I'll try to help you out as best I can.
Vinicius Silva, the ball carrier.
Also, Vinny Silva. Vinny Silva, number 5. He's also plays a little wide receiver for Framingham. So he got about 6 yards in gain. It's going to be second down and 4.
Second and 4.
Ball on the 48-yard line.
Their own 44.
Or 44-yard line, excuse me. Going to be a jet sweep coming across towards the sideline, and great job by the Wolverines. Pindell able to hold the contain there. Actually, no, it was Jack Holland. So Jack Holland with a great play. Jack Holland coming down from the safety spot to make that play and make no gain. Very impressive. Took a great route. There was no room.
So interestingly, in speaking with the coach, he talked about how good a safety Holland is. And he had not had the opportunity to play him much at safety because he'd been doing such a great job at quarterback.
Yeah.
So when you look at the fact that Ty starts under center tonight,
Yeah.
it could be a large reason for that is that he wants to see some of Jack Holland in safety.
Absolutely. I saw him play a little bit on the Weymouth game, and obviously we got a little glimpse of it in the Bellingham game. He's a kid who can get downhill and hit. He could certainly pass coverage, but I mean that was just a great route he took on that run. You have to take a banana route just in case they cut back. Kept them in front of him, and there was no gain. So he's going to bring up a 3rd and 4 for Framingham. 2 receivers up top. Looked like there was a little movement. No call. Quarterback's looking up at the top of the field. He's got an open receiver who makes the catch. Looks like that was number 7. Number 7, Zariah McCallion with the reception. A big gain.
So in that one, Drew got turned around. I don't think that pass went where it was supposed to go, but I think the offensive player was able to adjust more quickly than Donegan was, considering that Drew was kind of running back towards the pylon almost, and then had to turn over his right shoulder to try to defend the pass.
Yeah, you figure a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, like it's going to be an out pass, it's going to be a 5-yard play. They went deep there. I think there was a little confusion. Yeah.
Good for them. I like the aggression on the Framingham side.
So 3 receivers down low, 1 up top. Running back set off to the right. Silva takes the snap. And Wolverines, a host of tacklers, able to tackle running back in the backfield.
And it's interesting because now they're in a totally different type of situation. Now this defense has to get in a different mindset as opposed to just trying to escape the field on 3rd and short.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden they're inside the red zone, and it's a completely different type of scheme. And it's a different kind of attitude that you bring into those types of plays.
Murphy O'Malley on the stop. He's been terrific on defense the last several games. Big body, big frame, big presence out there. Able to make plays in the backfield. We've seen him make a lot of big sacks. The Dedham game, he was all over the field.
A loss of 4, 2nd down and 11.
So 2nd down and 11.
From the 11.
Silva is the quarterback. So Silva and not David Fabrini. So Silva's got running back set off to the left. He fakes the handoff, looking left, throws it up in the air. Made the catch, but out of bounds.
Closer than you thought it was going to be, though, right? I mean, when that went up, you're like,
is
okay, it's out of the end zone. But that kid made a great play. And he was probably, when you think about it, like a foot, maybe 18 inches away from that being a completion.
All you need is 1 foot at the high school level. It's not like the NFL. NFL, you need 2, but what a catch. But also great coverage by Toole. Toole didn't give him much to be able to go up and get it. He had to dive for it by seeing if he could get a piece of his foot inbounds at the back of the end zone.
You mentioned Murphy O'Malley before that last play. At that Dedham game, it was great to be in the crowd and just sort of get to know some of the parents of these kids. And I was with Murphy's dad and, of course, Eddie Martucci. That was fun. Yeah. That's an experience in and of itself, hanging out with those guys.
So it's going to bring up 3rd down, 3rd and 11. It's going to be no backs. So they're going to have 3 receivers down low, 2 up top. So 5 receivers out there. Wolverines looking to get a rush on it, take advantage of it. Quarterback took some space, looked right, then looking left, throws it out of bounds.
For all you old schoolers, maybe including you, Morgan, that's like the Mouse Davis offense right there. That's like 5 wide and see if we can spread them out and score. But sometimes you see the quarterback in that situation say, like, you know what, everyone's spread out. I got 1 lane. I'm taking it.
That's the thing is when you have 5, you got some room to work with. And if you're a mobile quarterback, that's a really good option to find some space, tuck it and go, 11 yards for a touchdown.
We saw that from Holland in the last game.
Yes.
Where, he said, I don't even think it was by design, but the play, started with a couple on the left side. They took routes that went right, and then it's like, oh, look, wide open. They took it.
So they're going to have it again. So no backs, 3 receivers down low, 2 up top. Silva in shotgun. 4th down and 11. Takes the shotgun. He's looking right. Oh, what a play by Senjik to deflect that. It was originally in the receiver's hands, and Senjik knocks it out, and it's going to be a turnover on downs.
Great job by Brendan Senjik because he was beaten, right? So at that point when you're beaten, what are you going to do to make up the difference? And I don't even know if he looked back. He literally had the instinct that once the ball hit the receiver's hands, bam, knocked it out.
Timed it perfectly. It's also a difficult play. That's typically a play where there's pass interference called on it when you're not looking at the ball.
If he'd put his hand up, probably would have had it called.
But what he did was he looked at the body language of that receiver, and when he saw the timing of when he was going to go up to try and get that ball, that's when he made the play. Saw it in the hands and then had his hand right in between the hands and the ball to knock that loose. But what a play. Those are the plays, but, you make up for it with a nice play like that. And that's a linebacker on the coverage, too. It's not a defensive back or a safety. The Wolverines going to take back over on offense on their own 10-yard line. Hand off to Martucci. Not going to be much there. It's going to look like a loss of about 1.
To put a bow on that play in the end zone, and I know you played defensive back. Anybody who's young and watching this, the biggest key when you're a defensive back, the number 1 key really, is you should be playing off the eyes of the defender, right? The first thing you look at, because the eyes of the defender are not going to lie.
Yes.
And you're going to know where the ball is, and if he looks back, that's when you look back, right?
Yep. Yeah, you gotta look at their eyes, also their body language. When they're going up, you got to be up. But worst case, if you have hands on, that will tell you too. So if you got hands in the hip pocket, you can tell when their cuts are going to happen,
that's
where
illegal,
they're trying to
Morgan.
go.
Come on. No contact down the field.
Pindell with the snap. He's looking up at the top, and it's going to be incomplete pass. But it's kind of the unwritten rule. Kind of the unwritten rule when it comes to secondary. It's almost like tackles and guards, where if you keep your hands inside the shoulder pads, they won't call that as a holding. If you keep your hand on the hip pocket for a defensive back, you typically can get away with those when it comes to contact. So it's going to be 3rd down and 11. It's 6 minutes, 32 seconds left here in the first quarter. Pindell in shotgun. He's got Martucci to his left. He's going to run it. So he tucks it. He's going to try and get some room outside to the right. He picks up about 4 yards. It's going to bring up a 4th down. So Wolverine's going to send their punt team out.
So Ty had an opening, and it's interesting. When he watches that back, he's going to say, oh, I
Yeah.
went left, right? If he had gone left, it's we're probably talking maybe 4th and 1 here, or
Yep.
maybe a conversion.
Yep.
But he saw the man on defense. He made the move right, and he just had a better angle to catch Ty there.
It was a smart play to run it. There was really not much to work with, but also things open up when you start running too. You see a lot of quarterbacks.
Warren to punt.
That's a great punt by Warren.
Man.
It's caught by the returner on the 15. Wolverine's doing a good job of holding that ground at the 50, and they tackle him. They're at the 49, 48. So great. We got a flag too, so it was a late hit.
There's a flag after the
Looks like
play.
it's going to be potentially on Framingham. It's a late hit on that on a player that was
Framingham
that was
47.
nowhere near the tackler.
So that punt, by the way,
Yeah.
I think 50 yards in the air. It
Very
doesn't
impressive.
go 50 yards from scrimmage, but he was basically on his own end zone. I'm
Yeah.
going to give you 2 yards.
Yep.
It was caught
Yep.
on the 50 or the 48, so wow.
Yeah, beautiful
Which way is the wind
spiral.
blowing?
Beautiful spiral on that. Typically, we've seen the wind going right to left. I don't know if you call that a northwest wind. Jay would know. Jay,
Jay would know that. Jay, if the wind's blowing right to left, is it northwest?
south.
Oh, yeah, so we'll say north. We'll go
Yeah.
north.
Okay.
All right, so from the
So we
south.
typically-
he couches it
Because we've seen it
from the south.
We've seen it during the soccer games. Typically, Westwood Soccer wants to go right to left in the second half. So when they win the tosses,
strategy.
they defer, and they pick field positioning.
That's checkers right there. No, I mean that's chess.
Chess,
That's
yeah.
not checkers. That's chess.
So Framingham's gonna send their offense out. They're gonna have the ball on the 47.
It's funny, you think about covering high school sports, and you're so used to watching college sports and
Yep.
NFL. Wouldn't you love to know what they're talking about?
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, what
Yeah.
Brad was just talking
Yeah.
about, the official, I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how, when you have like a 13 camera
Yeah.
operation,
Yeah.
with somebody zoomed in on the
You
coach's
got microphones on the
mouth,
field.
you could figure it out ultimately. But, there was a penalty called, and I don't know what Brad might have been discussing right there.
What I would imagine is, I think Westwood player got hit, and I'm thinking what they did was they nullified the penalties. They're probably going to say Westwood and Framingham had unsportsmanlike conduct, so it washes it out, and they're just going to start on the 47 where Westwood tackled the returner.
Yeah, I would imagine, particularly at this level, that's the only warning either one of those players
Yeah.
is going to get, right?
Yeah.
Any more of that business, and have
No.
fun watching the rest of the
No.
game from the shower.
I mean, we've seen games. We've seen that affect games sometimes. I remember an Ole Miss game a couple years ago where the flag allowed a team to, instead of kick a field goal, they went for a touchdown. They went for the end zone, got the touchdown, and won by 4. So you got to have disciplined football, especially there's a big game coming up on Thanksgiving, and there's going to be a TVL large title, share the TVL large title on the line. When you talked with head coach Brad Pindell this week, Tom, was that something that could you get a glimpse that he was
Yes.
thinking about it?
Yeah, no, I'm answering yes. This was a topic,
Yeah.
and no, he wanted nothing to do with it.
Yes, yeah.
because he goes, no, we're looking at Framingham.
Yeah,
he goes,
smart.
we are looking at Framingham,
Yeah.
and these guys know that they got to work hard to beat this team.
Yep.
And I'm like, I got it. All
Yep.
right, that's why he's the coach.
Yep.
He keeps him in the right mindset. Everybody else can talk about Thanksgiving,
Yep.
but he can't.
No, he
and
cannot.
the guys can't think that way tonight either. So I tried, man.
Yeah,
I did.
you
I
tried to get something, yeah.
Like fish it out of him, but he's too good.
Yeah. I was hoping this week that they would have put Norwood and Westwood together again. That would have been a fun matchup.
Oh.
I think they try to do different things. Non-league games too, which is cool. I can't remember the last time the Wolverines played Framingham in any sport. So Silva gets the shotgun snap, hands it off to the running back. No gain, tackled by a few Westwood players. I see Keelan McDonald.
The ball carrier.
I think Donegan was on it as well.
That was quite a delay.
Yes.
We probably could have taken a break in that
Yeah,
delay.
we
but that's
probably
okay.
should've.
Hopefully we filled the air. Glad we sorted that out.
Yeah, that was about 5 minutes of the refs figuring out the call there. So we bring up 2nd and 9. 2 receivers up top and running back set off to the left. We've got a fullback set kind of in the H-back position on the right. It's going to be a pass.
Ooh.
And looking on the right side, they got a receiver, and pass broken up. Pass broken up by number 2 for the Wolverines. That's Damani Cole, senior cornerback for Westwood.
A lot of credit to the quarterback. He lofted that one up there, and that was in the air for about 40 to 45 yards. And again, the receiver was open.
Yeah.
And there was some good recovery there by the defense to break up that pass. But we got to keep our eyes on this quarterback because he could throw it down the field. He could throw it.
These receivers are getting open, too. So I don't know if Westwood's biting on the run, but these receivers have a step on them, and I don't think it's because of speed. I think it's, they're running some good routes. They're, confusing the Westwood defensive backs a little bit.
Man, starting that play, how many yards back? 11 yards back, that running back.
Yeah, he's getting a head start. And Vincey there for the tackle in the backfield for a loss of about 2.
Fantastic job by those guys, but to the point, it's like he's running 10 yards before he even gets to the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
And I don't understand it sometimes why a running back is that far set back. But great job by the defensive line, causing some penetration and coming up with a huge stop that forces the punt.
Terrific job. They're blitzing the gaps, got right through, anticipated well, and that running back is another 10, 11 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
I mean, for them, he would have had to run 20 yards, right?
Yeah.
So I guess maybe you're hoping that something develops in front. He spots the hole, has maybe more choices, right? Because he's further back, he can assess where the opening is.
Yeah.
But we'll see if they do that one again.
So the punt team out for Framingham.
Jordan, the punt.
They got Toole back to return for Westwood. It's a low kick. It's going to hit the ground right around the 30, and it's going to be downed right around the 25. So the Wolverines will take it on the 24 going the other way.
If you joined us late, folks, what a start. On the opening kickoff, the ball recovered by Teddy McGowan on the 17-yard line, and I think it was just 3 plays later. The Wolverines were in the end zone. A Dante Martucci short run for 6, and then penalty on the extra point attempt, which moved it, a yard and a half forward, and Brad chose to go for 2 and basically ran the same play. So that's where we stand at 8-0 with 3:48 to go in the first quarter. Good start.
So this is where I want to see Westwood get into like a good rhythm. You're starting on the 24 and be able to get a good mixture of pass runs to be able to drive this ball down the field. You got Pindell in there, a quarterback, and want to see that. He did it during Hopkinton. He also did a little bit in the Bellingham game, but definitely get some of these reps under his belt and the confidence, going into Thanksgiving. Oh, a big run by Martucci. He's going to get about 6. So Martucci running hard downhill and actually going to be more. So about 8 yards on that run.
Perfect. Now you're playing with house money. I used to love second and short. When I was quarterback, I'm like, we're going long. Right? Just don't get me sacked. Like, as long as you don't get sacked and you don't throw an interception here, just go deep.
So we only have 1 defensive back on the 2 receivers down low for the Wolverines, so keep an eye on that. It's going to be handed off to Martucci. Martucci gets some hard-earned yards, and he's going to get the first down. So he gets about 6 yards. It's going to be a first down for Westwood.
Well, the flip side of that is why even risk throwing the ball if we can just run the clock and just run you over.
Yeah. It's kind of, like you said, I mean, that's basically the same run that Westwood did 2 in a row for the touchdown and the 2-point conversion.
Nice to see Drew Straighten back out on the field.
Yes. Back healthy. He's going to be a big
4.
weapon on both sides of the ball for the Wolverines.
I know he's excited to be back, and he had some big plays earlier in this season.
So we're going to get a screen pass. The Toole. Not sure if it was going to be a screen pass and then a double play. Who knows? But it was an intended screen pass, incomplete pass. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 10.
So Framingham playing pretty deep off the ball. The most interesting part of that play is that, funny we just mentioned it, but Juice had to go down the field and not cause contact, right? Because if he hits the guy, it's interference. So he's sitting there waiting. Maybe there's like a go call.
Yes.
It's like, go, caught it.
The Wes Welker, famous penalty for contact on the receiver on those screen passes in a big Patriots game years back. Pindell gets the snap. He's looking up the far side, finds Warren. Warren catches it. He's got a first down, and he gets tackled right around the 47-yard line. So first down for the Wolverines and a nice connection about 13 yards for Warren and Pindell.
So Ty's getting the taste right now. It's like, let's start spreading the wealth, right?
Yes.
Let's start sprinkling it around a little
Yep.
bit. Show this defense all the different weapons that we have, because then once the other team looks and says, who are we going to cover, that's when things start opening up.
When the Wolverines' offense is in a groove, it's a pick-your-poison offense. You know, even a guy like Senjik coming in. Senjik's had a couple games this year where he's had a couple touchdowns, 100-plus yards. You know, a great complimentary back to Martucci. We're going to have Drayton, the lone receiver, down low. We got Warren and Toole up top. Senjik in at running back. It's going to be handed off to Senjik. Senjik's got some room. He gets downhill, and he picks up about 15 for a nice first down run. So a nice fresh set of legs to add in there. Comes right off the bench into the game on the offensive side and gets a good 15 yards for a Wolverine first down.
You mentioned it, that there is depth, right? And even behind Brendan, there's Dawson Rose. So there are many options for this offense. And good to see the crowd filtering in.
Yes.
The theme tonight is red, white, and blue.
Yep.
Little Americana theme. So I'm glad to see. Yeah, it's good to be back for one bonus game.
It is.
We thought we were done, right?
It's for the seniors especially, you know, have one more opportunity for a home game to play in front of their friends, their family, and their Westwood High School peers. It's going to be a fake handoff, a pass to Donegan. Donegan's got some room. He gets down to the 10 and bit a big hit on the 5, and you could hear the crowd. What a physical hit by Donegan. As the player was lowering the shoulder, hit him. He got the best of it.
That's at least the second time we've seen that, because you go back to the Quincy game at the goal line, and it was Drew who, you know, really asserted his will on that play and ran somebody over. Obviously, you're hoping everybody's okay.
Yes.
But instantly, it was like, yikes.
Physical player. I would say, Tom, he is equally impactful on defense and offense. So Wolverine's going to be shotgun again. Pindell with or is this Rose? It looks like Dawson Rose. Rose gets the outside touchdown. So Dawson Rose with the touchdown on a nice run.
That's fantastic for him. Congratulations, Dawson. Great feeling to be in the end zone.
Yep. Well deserved. He's done all the little things for the Wolverines. A physical player. He's been playing both sides of the ball. Typically been the fullback. And, you know, he's the guy that's making big blocks to help out Martucci, Senjik on some of these runs. Gets the ball himself, and a nice touchdown for the senior.
He had a great opportunity in the Medway game, and that's really where he shined the most this year. So this is a good game for people to get some experience and some positive mojo.
So Bertone in for the extra point.
Or will he be?
Oh, and
Did
again.
we get it again?
But
Does he go for two?
we see Ty running on the field
Ty's
saying,
like,
"Yep,
we're
they're
ready,
gonna."
let's rock.
So we want to see a Bertone kick, because he kicks 40-yard extra points.
He's just a decoy at this point. They
He
just send him out and
He
they
is.
bark
He
signals.
draws penalties.
Yeah,
They
people
don't
look
want to
back
see it.
there. They're like, well, I don't want him kicking.
They don't want to see that kick. It's a big motivational boost when you see his extra point kicks. They're terrific.
So do we run the same 2-point play
I think
here?
you got to do it. You got to do it until they stop it. You got to do it.
What would be fun, though, is if they run it and fake it, and Ty keeps it as a naked bootleg.
That would be. He would have all the room in the world.
He could waltz into the end
He
zone.
could walk backwards into the end zone if he did the bootleg on that play.
Whoa!
The ball is fumbled, but covered in the air by Pindell, and he's tackled by 3 players. So the 2-point conversion is no good.
So now we know the strategy, right?
Yeah.
You jump off sides, you
Yes.
avoid the kick, and then you
Yes.
send your defense out there, and it's a 50-50 shot. No,
Yep.
all joking aside, that's a key play
Yeah.
by Ty, because guess what? If he drops that
Yep.
and the ball gets loose
Yeah.
and it's recovered by Framingham, it's in play, and they can run it back.
So from what I understand, we might have to ask our
Oh,
friend official here. I believe if they run it back, it's only a safety.
Yeah, they get 2.
They get 2.
They get 2-point
but
conversion of their own.
I've seen recently where they'll blow the whistle. I don't know if it's new rules.
We don't need that. It's much more exciting the other way.
Yeah,
If
I mean,
that rule changes
that's a
happen.
hard-earned 2 points. You know.
Yeah, if you're
It's-
going to like stop a conversion attempt and run it back 95 yards,
And my
you
question-
deserve more than 2.
My question too is when you do have a safety at the high school level, is that kickoff going to be a punt, or do they just go to a regular kickoff?
Ooh, I've always wondered why at the NFL. I think they punt it in the NFL because there's more hang time.
Yeah.
But with the different emphasis on different kinds
Big
of
time.
returns, I don't know. I think in high school you're kicking it.
Warren with the short kick returned right around the 47 for Framingham. That was returned by number 21, Ryan Costa.
You know why you kick it in high school, honestly? Because how many times do you really think that they would be practicing the, oh, by the way, when
the
when someone
walkthroughs.
scores a safety on us, here's how we're going to do our post-safety punt kick.
That's why walkthroughs, folks, walkthroughs are some of they're more mental reps for practices than it is physical. You're not really you're just wearing your game jersey, but you're going through every scenario. Even scenario you're going through is taking a safety to win a game. To let the clock tick. There's everything that's included in a walkthrough. Victory offense is in your walkthrough. So everyone's on the same page.
Best play in the playbook.
Oh, the best. Framingham's going to take over on the 47-yard line. 1 minute, 10 seconds left here in the first quarter. Shotgun, going to be a fake handoff to the running back. Wolverine players forcing the quarterback to go back about 20 yards. He's looking to throw it on the sideline, and he gets it out. So a heck of a job by the Wolverine defense to force an incomplete pass.
Yeah, great move. Now, what we're learning there on that play by the quarterback is that he needs to reset, right?
Yeah,
he's establishing that he's not necessarily strong at running left, throwing left. He's turning his body back around, or at least maybe the key receivers were on that right side of the field. And he did the right thing. Get rid of that ball, get it out of bounds, make sure you're not in trouble, don't take the sack. He did a lot of the right stuff.
It's the hardest throw to throw as a right-handed quarterback is across your body. And he did a good job to be able to at least get that out of bounds, but also you got to get it past the line of scrimmage.
Right, could have been a 20-yard loss.
Yeah, you had to throw it 20 yards just to ensure it wasn't intentional groundings.
Reset, second down, let's go, right?
So second and 10, Silva gets the shotgun snap. McDonald chasing him down. He's going to get rid of it. He's looking up top and well defended by Donegan. So Donegan did a great job. He had his hand in the hip pocket, able to get a hand up and defend that pass.
And we saw that again, right? He rolls left. I don't know if these are designed rolls left.
Yeah.
But he did a good job.
Yeah.
He gave himself enough separation there and threw the ball down the left stripe, broken up. Another great defensive play.
Impressive. He did that under pressure, too. He had McDonald chasing him down. He was pretty much, a step or two away from getting the tackle for a sack and got rid of that ball, threw it about 50 yards downfield, well defended by Donegan.
So a game that started very quickly with the Wolverines in the end zone, just a minute and 7 seconds in, has kind of crawled through the first period here. This has been typically longer than what we've experienced so far this year.
Yeah, some incomplete passes that have stopped the clock, and then we did have about 5 minutes of kind of figuring out the call on the unsportsmanlike conducts. So it's going to bring a 3rd and 10. Running back set to the right of Silva. Going to send wide receiver in motion. Silva's going to take it himself on the keeper, going outside left. Beats a couple Wolverine players and gets a nice positive gain of about 8.
Going to set up an interesting scenario here. You got to imagine they're going to go
for
fourth and less than 2.
Yep.
A lot of these plays going to the left side, and you're wondering if the plays to the left side are because that's where Framingham's strengths are, right? Their guys up front are strongest on the left side, or do they see something in the Wolverines' defense that they somehow are looking to exploit?
Yeah, it's got to be a combination, I'm sure, of a lot of things, but they've shown the success, and they want to have that rinse-repeat kind of offense. They've 8 yards, hard-earned yards there for gain, and they've been getting their most gains so far in the first quarter on the left side. So the clock ticking down, they're going to let the first quarter expire. So after 1 quarter of action, Westwood 14, Framingham nothing, and we're going to take a quick break, folks. We'll be right back to start the second quarter.
Westwood High School Sports, brought to you by Cadillac of Norwood, where luxury meets performance, and Arch Orthodontics, creating generations of beautiful smiles with expert orthodontic care.
Welcome back, folks. Thank you, Arch Orthodontics. Thank you, Cadillac of Norwood. About to kick off the second quarter. Framingham's got the ball going the other way on the 44-yard line. So it's a 4th and 1. You got 5 receivers, so keep an eye on the quarterback. He's got some wheels. He's going to look for some openings, but he's showing pass, working his way towards the right side. He's going to toss it, and well defended there. Jack Holland able to get a hand on that.
Fantastic defense.
Oh, that was a tough route. The quarterback was going right. He threw across his body. Holland saw all of that. You got to think Holland, as a quarterback, knew what he was trying to do there.
Yeah, and again, what I think that comes down to, we talked about it a little bit before, is the concept of eye to eye.
Yeah.
And watching the quarterback's eye, and then understanding with pressure, the quarterback's not going to have a lot of time to make decisions. Where he looks first, typically is where he's going to go. And then Jack saw that, saw the arm moving, and said, not tonight.
100%. Typically, the coaches tell you not to try and look at the quarterback's eyes because they'll do a pump and go.
Yep.
But he had the IQ level of, no, this is, he's got guys closing in on him. Where he's seeing and what he sees, he's going to throw right there and able to make a terrific play there. The Wolverines going to take over on their side of the 50. Pindell gets the snap. He's looking, and he's got a player. He's got Warren. He catches it, and he's got some room. Touchdown, Westwood! What a throw! 51-yard line, a 56-yard touchdown pass by Ty Pindell. That was a fantastic catch by Warren in stride. It was not an easy catch. Caught it going at top speed, and a big connection there for the Wolverines.
I did not think that Thomas was going to catch that ball. When I saw that in the air, I'm like, oh, he had him, and it was over. Oh, he caught it. It was that kind of reaction.
Wide open.
And he caught it, and then once he had it, he was in space and off for the touchdown.
So, Tom,
don't say it yet.
Yeah.
Don't say it yet until he actually kicks it.
And the kick is good. John Bertone. Terrific kick. Put the Wolverines up 21-0.
I love that. What a great – sometimes some of the most memorable stories related to football are about kickers, right? For so many different reasons. Like, where did they come from? Did they play another sport? Is it an interesting story like that one?
Yes.
Where, he wasn't on the team at the beginning of the year, and then all of a sudden he's kicking some big extra points and field goals as the season winds up.
Remember the BC kicker? They had a super fan one year, the lefty.
I have a huge story about him. That's Steve Aponovicius.
Yes. Yeah, great football name, too.
Steve Aponovicius was the leader of what was known as the Cottingham Crazies in Easton, Pennsylvania, when I worked in Pennsylvania.
No kidding.
So this kid literally, he was like the leader of the Den, right? The equivalent.
Yeah.
So I knew him covering high school sports in Pennsylvania. He played soccer really good, really good soccer player, but he wasn't on the football team.
Yeah.
And so, A, I didn't know he even went to Boston College, right? B, I'm at a BC Central Michigan game up in Michigan. And who's on the sideline in football uniform for Boston College but Steve Aponovicius? So it's like, dude, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, my God. And he explained the whole thing, and then he became a stud.
I'll never forget it. I think he had like a Thursday tryout. A kick and a big kick there by Warren. Warren gets it inside the 10. Returned by Framingham.
Good return.
He's got a good return. He's got some space. Warren able to get a body on him, and he gets outside of that. Jessup able to get some hands on and gets the tackle, brings him down, saves a touchdown. Tackled around the 35.
Fantastic return. That's the best return we've seen against the Wolverines all year. And there was a number of opportunities they could have made the stop. A lot of credit to the returner because he was able to break those tackles and, from Framingham's side, give them a little bit of positivity here so that they can try to get some momentum.
They got some good players who get it done. We've seen a great arm from Silva and obviously a great return there. I saw when I was watching some film, the running back, the original running back for Framingham, 22, Nick Duarte, he had a big run versus East Long Meadow for about 80 yards, and he looked like Bo Jackson in the 80s. He was doing spin moves and then was able to break away. Handoff for Framingham, nowhere to go there. Tackled by a few different Westwood players. I see Vincey. I see McDonald.
In the early days of Tecmo Bowl, if you had Bo Jackson,
cheat code,
you were unbeatable. He was the guy. I mean, and obviously that was because of how dominant he was on the field in real life. But it just coincided with that era that he was the hotness. What an amazing athlete.
Well, you should, on your series with the orthopedic surgeon or the orthopedic guy.
APR physical therapy with Dave Fleischman, what are we talking about next?
You should ask him about that hip injury he had. Because what I hear is he was so athletic, so strong, that only he could have an injury that bad and that grueling.
I do know a little bit about that. Hold on, after this play. Stand by.
So 2nd down and 12. Running back set off to the right of Silva. Silva looking to pass. McDonald was just there, and Silva gets the pass off and finds a receiver on the top of the field for a 1st down. Great job by Silva. Evades the pass rush. Found a receiver there for a gain of 12 and a 1st down by Framingham.
Yeah, slippery running, too, after the reception to not only elude the tackler, but stay in bounds. Tiptoe right down the sidelines.
Well done.
I should note for those of you watching at home that we are being paid a visit by Wolfie.
Wolfie in the building
with in the booth
with some USA gear on. Love to see it.
Wolfie knew the theme.
Yep.
Red, white, and blue.
So 1st down for Framingham. Ball on the 22. And there you've got a little drive going for them, trying to get on the board and cut into Westwood's lead. Westwood up 21-0. 9 minutes, 56 seconds here into the 2nd quarter. Pass up to the top of the field, tackled by Westwood. It looked like it was Damani Cole.
I'm glad they didn't score on that play. I got to be quick about it, but I got to finish the Bo Jackson thought.
Yes.
So his injury, which was against the Bengals in L.A., basically, if you could imagine your leg just literally being pulled straight, completely dislocated from your hip. And to your point, it was stressed by many doctors that, I don't know, he should be happy he's walking.
Yeah.
Let alone coming back and playing baseball.
Played baseball, and he was an all-star. I'll never forget some of those throws, the throws he had from the warning track to get Harold Reynolds, I believe, out and didn't hop. Ball was straight to the catcher. So 2nd down and 4. Silva takes the snap. He's going to scramble off to the right. He's got some room. And he's looking to get downhill, and he scores. So Silva able to get a touchdown on the keeper for, it was about a 20-yard run for the touchdown, puts Framingham on the board.
Derek clearly has identified himself as their best weapon.
Yeah.
Right? He can do it in many different ways. He's shown that he's got a big arm, and he can get the ball down the field. He's elusive. You never want to compare Framingham to Natick, because we know how that goes. But you remember another smaller, elusive, mobile quarterback who came from Natick.
Absolutely.
He reminds me a little bit of that guy.
Yeah.
And that was a great run right there, where he saw that everyone was covered, made the decision to tuck it away. Next thing you know, he's in the end zone.
He's a terrific athlete. He's got a great arm, too. So he's not just doing it on his feet. He can throw that thing about 50, 60 yards while under pressure, too. So they're going to go for 2. So Silva gets the snap. He's looking to pass, and the ball is incomplete. It was defended, or Damani Cole was on the defense of that, and incomplete on the by the receiver for Framingham. So the try is unsuccessful. It's going to bring a score 21 Westwood, Framingham 6.
Listen to you and Jay.
In sync.
I mean, that was impressive right there. You guys were both saying the
little
same
echoes,
thing. I'm glad. I mean, obviously you don't want Westwood to give up a lot of points, but given what we've experienced so far, I'm cool with that drive, the whole thing, for many reasons. Number one, keeps Framingham engaged, and hopefully it keeps the Westwood guys a little bit more engaged now, too.
Absolutely.
Because now it's not like, hey, it's going to be a cakewalk tonight. Let's everybody have fun.
Yeah.
It's, okay, a little counterpunch. Let's see how now we respond to it.
How do you respond to it? Oh, nice kick by the Framingham kicker. Going to be received up on the far top of the field and tackled down by the 27-yard line. That looked to be our good friend Constantino Giannopoulos, who had the big return in the Ashland game that set up the first touchdown for the Wolverines.
You know, how many years is it going to be? Is it going to be like 15, 20 years when Tino sits down in your podcast?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about it.
Remember
that
kick return against Ashland?
Changed the course of the season. It brought them into the playoffs. It also, is made the game for this Thanksgiving what it is for TVL, share the TVLR's title. If you lose to Ashland, you don't have the playoffs. You don't have the opportunity. And Westwood so desperately needed that after, going down 14-0.
Which reminds me that I am thankful, and I'd like to say thanks to Framingham and their offensive coordinator for not running the Ashland offense.
Yes, that was a tough one to call. Hand off to Senjik. Where's that Rose? We'll confirm in a second. looked like Dawson Rose. So hand off to Rose.
Ball carrier.
Not much there to gain. It looks like about a gain of
Jack Whiting.
no gain on the play. So
Loss of one on the
a
play.
loss of one. So second down and 11. So we got Rose in at running back. Drayton at receiver. Warren at receiver. Toole at receiver. We got Donegan tight end.
It looks like Juice is going to start in the backfield, which is interesting.
Yeah.
They're going to do that. Well, maybe not. Okay,
Yeah.
he's going split wide left. Got it.
So they got Juice. Juice going to be on an island up top. This is something we saw during the Tewksbury game where they put him on an island, let him go up and get a lot of the passes. He can get up there. He can get vertical. Pindell finds Toole. Toole's got some space. Has a first down and crosses the 50. So a gain of 20 for the Wolverines. Wolverines going to have the ball right around the 50-yard line.
A lot of time. Credit to the offensive line. Ty probably could have and should have made that throw quicker.
Yeah,
but look, he saw him open,
Yep.
spotted him, and bam. There it is. A beautiful 20-yard gain right when they need it.
Right in the flat. I love those plays, where you got to keep a defense guessing when you have all types of routes that these receivers are running. Senjic up the middle. He's going to get a gain of about 2.
It's one of those plays, Morgan. I don't know if we had the wide shot or not, but if you look back at it, Charlie was like,
Yeah.
like, I'm open.
Right here.
Like, please throw it. But he was that open that even seeing it, spotting it, oh, hey, and then throwing the ball.
What that tells
plenty of time.
me is he probably wasn't the number 1 receiver for that play. He might have been the number 2, number 3. So as Pindell is doing his progressions, he was probably 2nd or 3rd on the progression list, and then found him for that great connection for 20 yards.
Another one of those plays right here.
Pindell looking down the sideline and connects with Senjic for a gain of 11 and more. So a gain of 14 and a first down for the Wolverines.
That was at best option 4.
So it looked like he caught it like 11 yards. And did he get another 3 yards? He tiptoed the sideline to get another 3? Yeah.
But to get to that point of the progression tree, to your point, I mean, great job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a phenomenal instinctive play to get out in space like that. And obviously everyone's breaking off their routes at that point. What are the guys on the opposite side of the field doing? Are they going to come back and play? And he saw Brendan right there on the sideline and said, like, dude, you're open.
These are great plays to run. Westwood has the explosive offense that can have those touchdowns like Warren had, but you also got to have these. You got to have these intermediary passes. You got to mix it in with a good run here. Senjic downhill for 4 yards.
Senjic, the ball carrier.
We go whistle. We're going to say down by contact, so no fumble. Both teams are fighting for a loose ball. It's going to stay with Westwood and gain of 4 yards.
Reaching the 6-minute mark here in the second quarter.
So, Tom, question for you. Successful season for Westwood football, but also successful season for a lot of Westwood teams. Girls volleyball. Final 4 this year. How proud are you of that team and also being, seeing Livia and all the great things she did this year for the volleyball team?
Everybody. First of all, you tip your cap to the senior class. I think a great group of leaders who really did a great job motivating themselves and the whole rest of the team. And, until Tuesday night in Westboro, and I'll continue this thought after this play.
Yep. So second down and 7. Toole is going to go in motion. Pindell's looking up top. He was looking for Drayton. Ball was thrown a little bit high, got to be incomplete.
So until the match with Westboro on Tuesday, which was in Hopkinton again, ironically, Westwood had any match they lost, they only lost 3 of them, had all gone 5 sets.
Yep.
So this was the first time that anybody was just head and shoulders better than they were.
Very good.
And that Westboro team is phenomenal. They're about to play in their 4th consecutive state championship match. And they won in 3 consecutive sets, which was really impressive. A lot of fun. And I'm talking more about Westboro than Westwood, but our team had just a phenomenal season and getting to the Final Four for the first time in program history under this formulation of the MIAA playoffs. That's something to be really proud of.
Absolutely. Well, third down and 6. Pindell gets the snap. Looking to connect on a screen pass, and that ball is incomplete.
Just got feet tied up.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was with someone else or if it was with himself, but Dawson got twisted up there. And if he had caught it, he had some room.
It was a well-drawn play. There was about 2 guys that were coming after Pindell. I think one of them fell, so there was some space to do it. But
We've talked about that too. When you're the quarterback and you're running the screen, there's that brief moment of panic that truly you've got to be just coached through.
You got to sell it.
You got to just understand how that's going to feel. And, you know, when you're in practice, the defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator connect and say, hey, put some pressure on him on this play.
Yeah. So 4th down. Pindell with the snap. Looking to go outside to get some more space on the left. Throws it up top. Was looking for Warren. Passes incomplete. We got a flag.
I think
like
both of these guys saw the same thing.
Yeah.
Both of those flags came out at the exact same time and were thrown to the exact same place.
And it's going to be a hold on Westwood. So that will be declined. It'll be a turnover on downs. Ball going to go the other way for Framingham. But to add to what you were saying, Tom, so much fun to cover those games. You know, what a team. You know, all those girls playing for each other. You could see that it was a family. The games to call them were so fun. One of my favorite calls was, Leiden at the net, proud father to my right. You know, that was one of my favorite calls, you know, throughout the season. That game itself, the Norwood game, senior night, a great memory. The playoff games were tremendous. The milestones. But a Final Four for the volleyball team, absolutely terrific memory and you know, a lot to be proud of here in Westwood and obviously for the players and the families.
And for the girls to get the support they did is so amazing.
Packed
right?
the gym on Tuesday night.
There were a lot of people there in Hopkinton on Tuesday. And the only downside to that is, as we referenced, it's the only game all year that they didn't really stay competitive. And it's kind of like, oh, I wish all of these people had seen them at their best when they were beating teams down.
Well, they can if they go to the Westwood Media Center.
Good point.
And they check out the playoff games, Masconomet and the Sharon game, also Norwood game from the those are all 3-0 games. 3-0 games.
Phenomenal time. And hopefully you're laying the foundation. And there were good crowds at many of those games.
Yeah.
I'm not downplaying the size of those crowds at all, but you know, hopefully people start to feel a little bit of the momentum.
Absolutely. Silva on a 2nd and 8. Taken down by the Wolverines. Keelan McDonald on the sack. What a season for the sophomore Keelan McDonald. Every game we've covered, he's had 1 or 2 sacks minimum. Just does a terrific job getting after the quarterback and making big plays.
Man, when you think about him being a sophomore and how tall he is and athletic he is, now you start thinking about, okay, what position is he going to be in the next couple of years, and how are we going to like develop that body?
That frame.
Is he going to be like a really powerful defensive end, which he almost already is, right? He's made a lot of big plays from the defensive end position, but I mean, offensively, do you use him? And how?
We've seen him. We've seen him get rotated in on offense, made some great catches. He's been a dependable 5th receiver, but a lot of upside for him on both sides of the ball for years to come. Silva, snap, looking near side, finds the tight end crossing. He gets downhill and tackled by Senjik. So 1st down for Framingham. That was a tight end, Eli Rosen.
Yeah, that was muscle on muscle right there. That's probably one of the biggest, most physical hits you're going to see in this football game. 2 guys who are incredibly strong going right up against each other right here in front of the booth on the 48-yard line.
Imagine him and Donegan in an Oklahoma drill.
Oh, man.
That would pay money. That would be pay-per-view money to see that. That's something you don't see anymore either.
You don't see a lot of that, but what's funny is that the ones that are shared virally now aren't the ones with contact. It's the ones where the running back eludes the defensive player, like the Saquon Barkley. There you go. That's the one. Jinx, double jinx. That's what gets shared now.
Yeah, those ones are incredible where there's no room to work with, and he does a couple jukes, and then beats 3 guys in a telephone booth to get a touchdown. Silva, he's going to take it himself on the keeper. He's got 5. He's going to get an additional 7 for a gain of 12.
All right, so Silva came to play tonight, and I like the attitude, and I like the fact that this team, from the Framingham perspective, is aggressively moving this ball down the field because they've stepped up defensively and stopped Westwood now a couple of times. And so this is a moment of truth right here for the guys in green because, okay, I think at this stage of the game, this quarter of the game right now, Framingham's got the momentum. This
is where you need your leadership, where you don't want to allow a team back in the game. And the leadership to kind of set that tone of, we got to get this 3. We got to get the ball back. We got to stop them here because this is going to get us better for a big game.
Now this is interesting. Who called this timeout? Right?
Framingham. Yeah.
So man, can I just
Timeout.
be the Framingham coach for a
Yeah,
second,
yeah.
or someone who roots for
Westwood
Framingham for a
Band
second?
gets ready right
Why are you
now.
calling a timeout here?
That's-
Like you have so much momentum.
Yeah.
You've moved the ball down the field. You've
Yep.
stopped them defensively. There's not much you're doing wrong. You have yourself an early down situation.
Yeah.
There's nothing. It's not like a fourth down.
Yeah.
So let's roll. You know, and this gives a chance. I think this timeout benefits Westwood more.
100%, because Westwood's able to make a couple adjustments. You hear directly from the coach versus him yelling, and you half hear it, half don't. But also personnel decisions.
Yep.
We've seen an Ashland game where Peter Mills coming in to play a little D tackle, to kind of insert guys in to make adjustments on, the personnel that are on the field. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't know if there was a player that they wanted on the field, they
Right.
didn't.
Here's the ultimate, right? What's going to happen now is Framingham's going to score a touchdown on this play.
and
and the coach is going to
make
send
you
me
eat
an
your
email.
words. Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's going to be like, how about you shut it? But that's, nature of the beast.
Yeah.
And there was one funny one I was listening to the football game last night, the Eagles-Commanders game.
Mm-hmm.
And early in the game, they were going for a field goal, and of course the announcer said how successful the kicker is. They just gave him 5 yards, and he's going to 90% of the time make it. Hooked it
They
left.
gave the old jinx.
So here's a Framingham touchdown. I
So-
take no responsibility.
So no running backs, 5 receivers. Silva looking up at the top. We got 3 Wolverine defenders. Intercepted, it looks like. Yes, intercepted by Jaden Drayton. Looks like going to be downed on the 1 yard line.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Listen, you that was a
Need a big
well-thrown
play.
ball.
Yeah.
And they were inches away from that being a touchdown,
So-
right? So Juice is back, and Juice once again has his presence felt defensively.
I bet you that that was well positioned. You had 3 Westwood players there in defense. I bet you there was something said by Westwood defensive coordinator there about, all right, we're going to have cover 2, little help over the top, setting them up for what he's thinking, is going to be a pass. You probably have some, linebacker spy as well.
This is fun because now you got 2 minutes and 1 second on the
The
clock.
2-minute drill.
You got 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
But you're on the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
So if you're the Westwood offense right here, number one, you don't want to risk giving up a safety. You want to make sure it's a clean transition clean exchange, center and quarterback. And I'm running right here, but it doesn't. I don't know if this is a running
So they
setup.
got Donegan and fullback set off to the left. Rose, and it's going to be hand off to Rose. Rose looking to get some more yards to give Westwood a little more comfort. Framingham saying safety, but no, it's going to be
chance.
about no gain. So the ball's still on the 1.
And so at this point, what are you going to do, right? It seems like Brad's cool with just running stuff down.
Yeah,
You got
let the clock
1:43 on the clock and running. No one's calling timeouts.
Yep.
Are you going to go 98 yards? I could argue maybe. Why not? Let's give it a shot.
If you
But
you have to break one off here to really give that a shot. But I think he's playing for. They deferred, so they get the ball in the second half as well. So 2 running backs.
we're
We're going to get a penalty here, and it's going to be a automatic first down for the Wolverines. It's going to give them 5 yards.
Now,
So
speaking of that, how about the end of the Commanders-Steelers game where that play came to bite Washington? Russell Wilson,
Yeah.
right?
I
Boom,
didn't see
gets
it,
him
so
on the
let-
hard count.
Yeah.
And as soon as he got him on the hard count,
yeah.
that ended the game because it was a first down Pittsburgh, less than 2 minutes. Adios.
That's a coach's worst nightmare. They say watch the ball. So I was wrong, folks. It's not an automatic first down, but it did give the Wolverines 5 yards, a little more breathing room. And it's going to be a handoff to Rose. Gets hit immediately. Looks like maybe a loss of 1.
Nope, someone's calling timeout.
Yeah, the timeout called by Framingham.
Okay, so a minute and 5 seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
You've got yourself a situation where Westwood's facing third down. So
Yeah.
now Framingham has stated their case. They're like, okay, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right? Even if you run the ball here, we're going to call another timeout, force you to punt, and then take our chances on
Good
either
field
a punt
position.
block
Yeah.
or set up a return.
Big return early in the game on the kickoff.
So the timeout strategy has not come back to bit anybody
Nope.
because
Yep.
they're playing this well.
Yeah.
Right. So this is as strange as it sounds in a 21-6 game, right?
Yep.
This is kind of a key play.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Big
For them,
play.
if Westwood gets a first down, it's just getting out of trouble, getting to halftime unscathed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just introducing a lot more action into this
Yeah.
first half.
Kind
right?
of reminds me of a fourth quarter when you're trying to close out a game.
Yeah.
You're just trying to close out the half.
Listen, if he runs and gets a first down here,
That's it.
The half is over.
That's it. Yeah.
Right? But if this is an incomplete pass or they're stopped short of the chains and we have a fourth down situation, we got another timeout from Framingham.
Yep.
Then we got a punt. right? Then what happens after that?
Yep. So we're going to have fullback set off to the left, Rose in at running back, Pindell and shotgun, handoff, no, naked boot. And he's got an open receiver and O'Malley, and it's going to be incomplete.
The play was there,
That
right?
was a great play call.
That was really a
Had
good
him.
play call because everyone's thinking run right there.
Yeah.
So, but to Brad's point, he knows that I'm playing with house money because
Yeah.
even if I
Yep.
run the
Yeah.
ball and come up short,
Yeah.
they're going to call timeout.
Yeah.
So the only downside to this is that they still have a timeout when they're on offense. But I'd take that risk too. Give my guys a chance in space and put the first half away.
You only can do that if your running game is cooking. It has in the first half. So, you know, you mentioned it earlier. Like, he does this. He could walk his way into the end zone when Wolverines were working it down the field in the last touchdown. So it's going to be a punt in the end zone.
All right, so good snap, good kick here, right? And
Yep.
good protection. You want to make sure that you don't give this team any life.
Nope.
Could you imagine having this first half end and it's 21-14?
Yeah.
I mean, you're one good play from Framingham away from that being a possibility. So let's just get good snap, good kick.
Yep. Good defense. It is a good snap. And it's a good kick.
That's a great
That's
kick.
a great kick. Returned around the 45, able to make a nice couple moves to end up right around the 37. Nope, the 34. We got a flag. That might be a big play.
Might be
Tom.
a late
I mean,
hit,
if
right?
we get a late hit, 15 yards, that will push it back closer to the 50. So we'll see who the flag is on.
Either
Personal
way, this is going to
foul
be big, right? If it's against Framingham.
on Framingham.
There you go. All
Yeah.
right, so that's a massive
That's a big
setback
penalty.
for them.
Yep.
So 46 seconds left in the first half. They still do have a timeout.
Yep.
But big difference
Big
from
difference.
being on the 33, where they'll probably be on, what, the 48 here?
Yep.
Penalty against Framingham, unsportsmanlike conduct.
If the Wolverines can get a sack, that's huge. You force that timeout to be called, and then that's basically the half.
Yeah, because
But-
they'll be throwing.
Yep.
All right, they're going to be throwing the ball here. So to your point, when the other team's throwing, the only way you can keep that clock rolling is if you sack the quarterback.
You gotta get him. You gotta get him on the ground. He's been an impressive quarterback all game. Can do it both on his feet. He's got a great arm. He's had a couple big connections as well. So the quarterback itself, it's Mateus Silva, number 4.
All right.
So David Fabrini was the quarterback earlier in the year, but Silva, very impressive, dual threat. He's going to be in shotgun. He's got 5 receivers, and he's going to throw it inside, well defended by Charlie Toole. He was looking for, looks like number 8 for Framingham, and well defended by Charlie Toole.
And by the way, while you mentioned that quarterback being in there, our apologies, my apologies if we misidentified you.
No,
I mean, I feel bad
all
about
good.
that. Yeah.
I think it was just once. You mentioned
Okay.
Derek.
Okay, yeah.
But you said Silva.
My apologies.
So it's going to be second down and 10. Framingham, 5 receivers set, 3 down low, 2 up top. Silva by himself in shotgun. He's got some room. He's looking the near side on a well-thrown ball and a great play by the receiver, able to go up and get it. He's got some space, and he gets it all the way down to about the 7, tackled by Donegan. Touchdown-saving tackle by Donegan.
So the clock stops. Both teams are hustling up. It looks like they're going to down this here.
Inside the 10, it is first and goal.
And they're going to spike it, stop the clock with 29 seconds left in the first half.
So they're able to save the timeout.
Save the timeout,
Right? They
yeah.
know they have 4 downs.
So they can run,
at
they can
minimum,
pass. You know,
right?
it's
They got
just-
a lot of options. That was good
That was
execution.
great management, yeah.
To get that offense set quickly.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's, again, talk about the walkthroughs, right?
Yeah,
How often
yeah.
are you practicing the spike play?
Yep.
Like 11 guys on the same page, making sure that that's
Yep.
executed under duress.
That you know what to do, where to go. Also small things, handing the ball off to the official
Yeah,
to
don't be-
save yourself some time.
Yep.
Patriots
Running it-
did that last week, and it was in favor. They were able to kick a field goal because you saved a second, and they spiked it with a second left. So now we got the running back set off to the right. We're going to get a timeout called by Westwood.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
There's some personnel issues.
Absolutely.
Trying to figure out who should be out there, and if you've got them, use them.
You got to get some nickel backs in there. It's a better matchup if you get another defensive back versus a linebacker covering one of these receivers.
If you had the opportunity to start it all over for you at the beginning of your football career, knowing what you know now,
Yeah.
what position would you want to play? What would you choose?
I think I would stay with what I did. So
Yeah,
I was
were you safety or corner?
I was a corner.
All right.
And then when I went to college, I was more of a safety. But I loved it. I loved the challenge of I think it's the hardest position to play in any sports. To have to cover someone.
corner?
Corner.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
To have to cover someone at full speed going backwards, I think is the most difficult position. And it's also one of the most important positions.
So many times throughout a game, you're starting that play literally looking a guy square in the face, and
Yeah.
you're both out so far removed from the rest of the players. Right? It's
Yeah.
a weird dynamic that people who've never been on the field don't get, because it truly does become a one-on-one battle.
So I had Jim Fabiano on the podcast this week. Joe Fabiano, Hall of Fame receiver. Also Chris Laham, we played Hall of Fame receiver at Westwood and Merrimack. But we talked about practices. We used to have battles during practices. When you got guys like that, you can go one-on-one, talk a little smack, the best. So Framingham coming back out. 2nd down and goal. Shotgun to Silva. He's looking up at the top of the screen. Well defended. That was Drayton went up and got that. Got the hand on that and deflected. Incomplete pass.
Doesn't get better than that.
No,
That was
one
played
hand.
perfectly, and he saw that coming the whole way. What
Yep.
becomes difficult there is the timing, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're there, it feels like it's slow motion. Right? You see the ball
You're
coming,
waiting
you're
for
like, and then when am I going to jump? When am I going to get my hand up? And Juice nailed that
Especially when you're dialed in, everything seems slower.
Oh.
The game seems slow when you're completely dialed, and 100%. We could see his eyes locked in.
one. Yeah. Did you
know.
play on this field or no? No.
No,
At the
no,
end. So I wonder
no.
the angle of the lights, like when you're in
Yeah,
the end zone looking
it's a
back.
good point.
Like, is that ball on the lights or not?
So let's bring up 3rd down, 3rd and goal. Silva takes the shotgun. He's looking to get the feet moving. Dawson in the area. Ooh. Silva able to get it down to the 1. We have a flag, though. Signaled touchdown on the field, but we'll confirm after the flag. The flag is typically where you see it. It looked like it might have been a receiver type hold, so it is a hold. It's going to be a spot hold as well.
Or maybe a block in the back. I didn't know which one of those signals it was.
Yeah.
One or the other, but
Yeah.
still the same net effect.
But
The
very
6 points off the board.
Consequential.
Yeah, seconds off the clock. Framingham still has their 1 timeout remaining, but now move it back to the 17-yard line. So much different, 3rd and 7. You got to imagine that. With the timeout, they don't have to go to the end zone.
Yep.
Right? They're still a wide open field.
got
You can
time.
go as long as you get the 7 yards.
I think, though, if your best.
No, hold on. What we got? It's 3rd and goal.
3rd and
so
goal.
you got to score.
You got to score. But I think you're right. So you got to you have a timeout. You have 14 seconds. If you're going to run, it's got to be the quarterback. It's got to be him taking it on a keeper. You got to have the 5 wide receivers as well, where you got to open up those lanes. But you also got to call that timeout pretty quickly when he hits the turf, because when he's running around, it can take 10 seconds, 12 seconds off the clock when he, eventually works it towards the end zone. So 3rd and goal. Silva, he's got some room up at the top. Rosa closing that room down. He throws it, and incomplete. It was a high throw. Forced the Framingham player to kind of try and make an attempt to catch it with one hand.
I'm not even sure, Morgan, if he tried to catch it. I think as it was up in
Looked like
the
a
air,
defender
he probably sensed the presence of the Westwood player behind him and said, uh-oh.
Defending it.
Like, I better break this up, otherwise
this
drive's over. So in that regard, good play.
Smart play.
Yeah.
He knew he couldn't catch it. So, it looked like he was just trying to get a hand on it to get it on the ground so Westwood couldn't catch it.
Yep. So 4th and 17.
4th and 17.
Goal.
Yep.
5 ticks on the clock. One more good defensive play
What do you
here.
draw up here?
Oh, you're talking defensively?
Offensively.
Oh, offensively. Well, they love the spread.
Yeah.
I'd like to run some routes here if I'm in white with guys crossing each other.
They do got a running back. Keep an eye on him. They might be trying to do a wheel play out of the backfield. Well, it's 3 receivers up top. Running back is going to go out of the backfield, but he's in the middle. Ball on the ground. Sacked by McDonald. And a huge play by the Wolverines. They get the turnover, and that expires the clock as well for the first half. So at one point where we had 7 in the touchdown with the penalty, Wolverines able to get 2 big plays to keep them off the board. And going into halftime, the Wolverines up 21-6 on Framingham. So great finish to the first half, folks. We will be right back after a quick break to talk about the first half and begin the second half.
Westwood High School Sports, brought to you by Cadillac of Norwood, where luxury meets performance. And Arch Orthodontics, creating generations of beautiful smiles with expert orthodontic care.
Attention fans, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, may I direct your attention to the 20-yard line on the north side of the field. On behalf of Westwood, I have the pleasure of introducing a team that did something very special this year. Westwood varsity girls volleyball team finished in the state semifinals with a record of 18 wins, 4 losses. And the state final 4 is the farthest Westwood volleyball has ever advanced in the MIAA state tournament, losing only to number 1 seeded Westboro in the semifinals. Introducing your 2024 Westwood volleyball team very quickly. Lulu Fenton, Marina Waldemian, Emmy Roberts, Narintra Kamaratanapagon, Tavia Lodovico, Veronica Reeves, Avery Hurley, Jennifer Lynn, Maddie Risha, Catherine Sano, Frankie Gennari, Megan Greeley, Grace Foscaldo, Angelina Holmesy, Libby Leiden, and Anna Beaumont. Congratulations, girls. You have gone where no volleyball team has gone before at Westwood High.
So Morgan told me I had to chime in. What a great run. Congratulations to those girls. Thank you. Big thanks to Jay Risha for really organizing that moment, which hopefully they remember for a long time. A lot of fun. Thanks for the memories. And for those of you coming back next year, there's a standard that has been set that you can aim to try and break. We're going to take another quick break on our end, and we'll be back here as we kick off the third quarter. It's Westwood 21 and Framingham 6 on this beautiful November night in Westwood, Mass.
Westwood High School Sports, brought to you by Cadillac of Norwood, where luxury meets performance. And Arch Orthodontics, creating generations of beautiful smiles with expert orthodontic care.
All right, folks, welcome back. We have special guests here with Tom and myself. We have 2 members of your girls volleyball team, Final Four team, amazing season. We have Catherine Sennell and Angelina Holmesy. Girls, how are you? Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely.
I'm good.
So that was Catherine who spoke first, and that's Angelina who spoke second. These were 2 of 3 captains. Frankie Gennari was the 3rd captain this year. But first of all, how great was that moment on the field, Angelina?
It was really good to have all the team together one last time, and everyone just watching see our achievements.
A little self-conscious, though, I would imagine.
Yes, very, very nerve-wracking, but it felt good to be recognized for what we accomplished.
So I'm going to ask these 2 a question, and then you wrap it
Absolutely.
up, right? So my question is this. Did you know in August that your team could put together the type of run that you put together?
Well, at tryouts, we knew we had a really tough list. We had to make a really good list, and we had to cut very good people. So we had the issue of having too many good people, so we knew we were going to make it far.
Nice. So at what point, Catherine, did you feel that the team could make a run once you got some action under your belt?
I think as soon as we had the first practice, we just knew we had such good chemistry and we worked so well together, and we knew we could go that far.
Girls, how much did it feel like a family together? I mean, we're doing the games, and I had mentioned this to Frankie when I was interviewing after the Masconomic game, but you guys are diving all over the court. You weren't letting any balls, hit the ground free. And, building each other up and celebrating after a lot of these kills and stuff like that. By the end of the season, did you guys all feel like you were sisters, or was that always the feeling from the start?
I felt that we were a family, and it's sad that we're now not a family anymore, even though we still are. But just celebrating with everyone, and it was so fun, and I love them like they're my sisters.
Yeah.
we always got dinner together after practice and after games, so like that really brought us together because like we didn't have the connection just on the court but also off the court, and like even at school we're all very close to each other. So yeah, I'd say we're all sisters together.
So we got a picture from the game versus Westboro. The den, the stands, unbelievable. It was so packed. You guys inspired so many. How cool was it to see Westwood show up to support you guys? You inspired them to come 40 minutes on the bus to come root for you guys to the very end, too. You guys are fighting tooth and nail to the very end. How cool was that to see your peers, your family, your friends all rooting?
It was very cool. Like, I was very grateful everyone came. It was kind of sad that we lost, but we did put up a fight. And the stands were full on both sides, but I say, like, Westwood took over.
Oh, 100%.
We were definitely loud.
Yeah,
There's no question about that. What's your best memory? How about that Hopkinton win last Friday night?
Definitely,
yes.
Yeah, definitely the Hopkinton win. I think that's when we played our best, and it showed, and it was honestly the most fun game I've ever played.
Yeah, it was a great game to be in the stands. The mood was set, Morgan, from the outset.
Yeah.
You know, everybody who walked into that gym just had nothing on their mind but business. Whether you were cheering for them or you were on the court playing like these two were. I told Angelina it was really funny as we watched the Hopkinton broadcast. They apparently were not familiar with her game because as she was dominating, the announcer goes, "I didn't know she was this good."
Air Holmesy. Holmesy goes up and gets it.
But it was great. That, for me, as a person watching, I think that was your best game.
Yeah.
So congratulations. And I know we've embarrassed you enough, but thank you for joining us here tonight.
Thank you so much.
No, I must admit, Tom, I was on the way to the football game. I was watching the game while driving. I will not recommend that ever. I will not recommend that ever. I'm just kidding. That my passenger had it on, but I was peeking over, and it was the first set, and you guys hung tough and certainly set the tone for set 2 and set 3. But remarkable season. I'll remember for a while, and I wasn't a volleyball person until I was thrown into that Norwood game, and then I jumped all in.
So do you have, I don't know if you've watched the clips, but do you have like a favorite moment, like when you actually hear Morgan call your plays? What's that like for you? Where he's actually describing it.
I think my favorite one is the sneaky Frankie Gennari. That one's just great. And it's just awesome.
All right, cool. We'll let you go.
Yeah.
We appreciate the time, but thanks for the memories and probably more importantly, thanks for letting us embarrass you here, right? We were like, oh, God, please let us go. That's Angelina Holmesy and Catherine Sannel, both honored by the TVL for their play. And, of course, the team, you didn't know this, but honored for their sportsmanship. Did you
tremendous.
know that the Westwood volleyball team earned the Sportsmanship Award?
It's terrific. And typically that's not typically you don't see the teams, Tom, that are winners get that. It usually is the team that put up with a lot of losses and hung well. A winning team that does that, that's a great example set for Westwood.
All right, goodbye, ladies. Thanks for coming. Good to see
Thank you, guys.
Be good.
Absolutely.
That was fun.
That was fun.
It's hilarious when you have kids on the spot who are like, "What are you doing to me? Why are you asking me these questions?" But
their parents will appreciate it, and they'll appreciate it so many years later.
And beyond that, it's the opportunity to have them speak for themselves.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
They get a chance to sort of say the things that are important to them.
You know what I loved? When I would do some interviews after games, and I interviewed Frankie Gennari. And she was talking about match point. I asked her, it was a milestone. It was her 500th assist.
That was wild.
And she was talking about how, it's so humble, she was talking about how her best friend Megan, and how happy she was that she got the kill to get the match kill, and end the game. And, that's when I realized this is more than a team. This is a family. These are, girls that are best of friends.
Yeah.
And they're going to be that way for a long time. They'll probably be in each other's weddings, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that was so cool to be in that moment to see them celebrate game after game. But so humble of all the recognition for other players when I was asking them direct questions.
Yeah. When you asked them about, it's sad it's over, and I feel like it's over, and we're not together anymore. I felt like telling them, like, were you here and to see the 03 and 04 teams who are still together, like 20 years later?
Yeah.
It doesn't sink in.
No, it's
to your point. They'll be forever kind of
bonded
intertwined.
forever. Yep.
Wolverines to
Cool.
receive the opening.
You'll always have that bond. You can look across the room and be like, just to give it a head nod.
Yep, that's forever my sister, forever my teammate. So Framingham going to kick off to start the second half. Got Drayton back. We got Giannopoulos back.
Effective for the Wolverines.
Waiting on the clock, so a couple seconds before we're ready to rock. We'll get the whistle, and we'll be off and running. I think they watched the film. Are they keeping it away?
Keep it away from
Tino?
Keep it away from 8. And it's going to be to 8. So Giannopoulos with the return. He's getting the feet moving. He's got some room. It makes a couple moves. Gets downhill for another 5 and 6 to the 50. Nostradamus, Tom Lydon on the call with a big return there by Constantino Giannopoulos. Going to give the Wolverines the ball on the 50-yard line.
So Tino, once again, making an impact, which is great because you see it.
Sophomore.
You see the evolution of a player, right? You see the big play being made against Ashland, and all of a sudden he's got the confidence. He's like, whoa, I can do this.
Yep.
Right? And suddenly now he finds himself in space. He finds himself with blockers who have the belief in him to break one.
Yep.
And it just is like dominoes. You know, when one thing happens, the next thing happens.
It's funny. It's not just on the field. Like when you have a big play like that, the next day in school, you're walking around like Conor McGregor. You know, you got that McGregor walk. You're feeling pretty good. The Wolverines getting right back to offense. Toole is going to come in motion. Findell takes a snap. He had a guy blitzing right up the gap who gets hands on, and he's going to get the sack for a loss of about 10.
An interesting play. I think they were trying to set up Thomas Warren on that, on kind of a delayed, remember the rocket screen from Notre Dame? That kind of play. And it was there. So Thomas is kind of giving that like, hey, let's go again. Because I think it was there. And it was just, if you can run that play again and get the protection you need, I think it could be something big.
It was a great play by the Framingham player, able to blitz. It looked like around the A-gap. Got in the backfield pretty quickly to get that sack for a loss of 10. Going to bring up 2nd down and 20. Pindell gets the snap. He's going to throw it up over to Donegan. Donegan with the gain of about 4 to cut into that yard, or the 20 yards that Westwood needs to gain.
That play was just everybody crossing, right? So when you cross people, that causes a bit of confusion defensively.
Yes.
And Drew found himself in some open space. And when you've got a guy on your roster who's laid out a hit like he did earlier in the game, get him the ball.
Spindell looking back on the screen. He's got Dawson this time. So a nice move by Dawson, and Dawson's got some more room. He's going to get an extra 10, 15 yards and a big gain there. We're looking at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 yards on the gain for Rose.
And probably 20 of them, maybe 25 after that point of not first contact, but second contact.
Yes.
He broke 2 sets of tackles to break that one into the clear.
Big play gives the Wolverines a 1st down when it was a monumental 3rd and about 20. Handoff looked like to
that was
Senjic,
Senjic, right? So you bring Dawson Rose off the field, and here comes Brendan. I liked that move right away,
depth.
sticking with pretty much the same personnel, but if not, a couple substitutions and just keeping the pace.
Yeah.
Right? Particularly after a big play, I love that move. Just like the team's on their
100%.
heels,
Yes,
right? When you got the
100%.
defense on your heels, like, let's go.
It was the perfect time. It was there earlier in the game. It was just, I think Rose had lost his footing. They did it again, the other side. Big gain. We're going to get kind of the totem pole stacked receivers on the top, also on the left. Hand off to Senjic. Senjic squirms for a gain of about 3. Going to bring up a very manageable 3rd down.
I mean, there's no way he's thinking about this, but let's just say he is. That spin move, right, turns that from a 3rd and 7 or 8 into a 3rd and 3, which at this stage of the field, at this point of the field, this is 4-down territory, right? So just getting those extra 4 yards there is very key.
It's a well-coached kid. You know, when you see that, you have a good positional coach. It teaches you how to get another 2-3 yards just after contact. Hand off to Senjic. And he gets downhill, and he's going to get a 1st down. So a nice hard run for Senjic to earn a nice 1st down for the Wolverines.
You make a great point, earn. You said that word, and this is one of those drives. It's kind of like, all right, let's keep the kid in there who's earned the 6, right? You know what I mean?
He's making it difficult to take him off.
However, Dawson Rose got him down here with the big catch,
That's
right?
true. He's earned it too.
They both earned a shot here. What would be cool is if you ran, like, I'm getting fancy, but like, let's run a double reverse involving them both.
Double reverse pass to Giannopoulos.
Now we're getting greedy.
So 3 receivers up top. Senjic set off to the right. Warren down low. Pindell going to the back of the end zone, and he finds Toole for the touchdown.
Complete to Charlie Toole.
So touchdown, Charlie Toole for the Wolverines to put them up 27-6 with an extra point approaching.
Perfect team drive from
Great
the moment
throw.
you touch the ball. The kickoff return to almost midfield. The great screen pass and reception by Dawson Rose, who breaks the tackles and gets it inside the 25-yard line. 2 power runs by Brendan Senjic.
Yep.
And a great pass to the far pylon
Yeah.
by the young quarterback who's shown off his arm a bit.
It was clean, and it was also well-balanced. Runs, combination of runs and passes. That's what you want to have on offense. You want to have a well-balanced approach where when you do pass, you're doing play action, and the defense, they have to respect the run because you're able to get downhill for 10 yards, and it confuses them. And you're going to have wide-open receivers when you have a good run to be able to sprinkle those in.
So Bertone is not having an easy night, right? He's
No.
like, what are you people doing
Yeah,
to me?
it's
He's like,
some
can I just
mind
come out
games.
here and kick the ball?
Yeah, some mind games going on. And a good kick by Bertone. It's going to put it Westwood at 28 points. Framingham 6. So funny story for you, Tom. I was at the Tewksbury game last week, and I'm standing next to Bob Hoffer. Bob Hoffer, longtime coach in Westwood. He coaches the middle school football team. He's also the pitching coach of the Wolverine baseball team, long time, 20-plus years. He knows Bertone very well. I've actually talked to him and said how impressive he is as a catcher. I mean, he's been starting as a catcher since his freshman year. Great leader, great athlete.
Just born to be a catcher, right? You
Yeah.
look at his
Oh,
body
right.
and the way he carries himself on the field, just born to be a catcher. Continue.
Big time. So I say to Bob, I go, oh, by the way, the kid who just kicked that, I go, it's John Bertone. He goes, are you kidding me? I've been
didn't
here
even
this
know?
whole time and I didn't know it was my catcher. So that shows, that obviously John coming in, later into the season, showing his kicking abilities, earning the kicking role for the extra points, and doing a tremendous job.
So if you haven't seen a baseball game, you got to get there because it is, certain players are sort of cut out of a certain mold to play a position, and he is definitely really born to be a catcher.
Oh,
just
he's
the
got
way
the-
he's got the legs.
He's got that
and-
Johnny Bench thing,
Oh, yeah.
and
but he's got the way he commands the pitching staff, and he can
He's
throw
a
down to
leader.
first and
He's-
third base and pick guys off.
Also, when he's on base, he reminds me of Veritek, where he'll do those delayed steals. Like he's so into the game. He's not the fastest kid, but one of the smartest kids. Knows how to really get the pitcher's attention and be a distraction out there as well when he's on the base path.
If you can have a catcher who's a weapon that way, like picking people off, even in softball too,
Yeah.
same thing. A catcher that can pick people off and just end innings unexpectedly with a quick throw to third base, like boom. Thank you so much. We'll take you times 2.
Huge momentum swings. So Silva is going to hand it off to the running back. Running back's got some room. He gets a good ball on the ground. Westwood saying it's their ball. We'll see confirmation from the ref. He's saying down by contact.
Silva, the ball carrier.
So Silva looked like handed off to his brother,
After a gain of about 8, it is 2nd and 2.
Vinny Silva, and it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 2. Ball on the 38.
So listen, we've gotten all the way to the third quarter, Morgan, and not even a word of thanks for bringing the heater. I mean,
Oh.
I brought the heater today from my house to keep us toasty here in the press box.
Tom, I am so thankful. I am not a cold person. I cannot stand it. So the heat is a difference maker. It feels like September 15th game right now.
We're going to start selling tickets to the press box for people outside.
We are, yeah.
We can put a premium on that.
Like a Seinfeld episode.
Right? Let's just bring
Come
them
in
up.
the back
we got
door.
a couple seats here.
We
to
get
the
a
left.
we get a bouncer at the door over here too.
Gotta figure out the ticket price on that. We're going to StubHub tomorrow for the season opener next year.
You got Eventbrite connections. We can figure something out. Great job there by the
Look at that.
Wolverines. Tackle for no gain.
Oh, fantastic. So now,
Rose
Silva, the ball
and
carrier.
McDonald on the tackle. Gonna bring up a 3rd and 1.
so these are fun downs because you get to sort of muscle it up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
3rd and short. Figure that they're probably going to run, right?
Yeah.
That's a great challenge if you're a defensive lineman
Framingham
or a
39.
linebacker.
Absolutely.
Maybe bring a safety up, right?
Yeah.
See how they line
Blitz
up. But
that
they've been
gap.
spreading it out,
Yeah.
right? They've been spreading out 5 wide. So it's tough to bring that safety up or that extra
Yeah.
pass rusher. But not this time, right?
That's when you also get those off, those false starts when you start putting the pressure on. And Westwood's doing that. They've got a couple linebackers standing over the gaps.
Oh, fake.
And it's going to be a QB sneak attempt up the middle. The far side ref is now working a little bit closer towards the line of scrimmage. He started a yard out.
That's going to be close.
And
that's going to be close.
Going to be very close.
Might
bring the sticks out.
Which is always fun. You know, there should
gonna
be
get
a prop bet on that. Whether
Yeah,
or not
exactly.
the chains get taken out. No, they're saying,
so
what are we going to do?
Give some space. I don't think we've seen the sticks come out this year.
Thinking about it.
For a measurement.
That's a tough one. I think it's short.
I mean, bring them
I
out.
think it's short.
Bring them. Here they come. Here come the chains.
Does he have the 3x5 card to use like Gene Sarator? You know, that was awesome to see that.
It is fun. Have you worked the chains? You've had to have worked the chains at some point. Oh,
I did,
we got a
yeah.
flag on the Framingham coach.
Oh.
Wow. So clearly
That's
not
gonna be
happy
15.
with something. So
That's going to be 15.
bringing out the chains to try to.
Now you don't need to.
No
you
kidding.
don't need to do it now.
It's like, hold off on that request.
Yeah, we're going to just walk this back 15.
I will say this. Objectively speaking, I thought it was close.
I agree.
Right? So at
Yeah.
this point, maybe they measure because it's the result of the last play. And
Yeah.
if it's a first down,
Yeah.
you do move those chains forward.
Yeah, and that's a
then
first
you
down
march
versus third.
the
Good
penalty
point.
back.
Very
right?
good point.
So it is a good.
So it is a dead ball foul.
Yep.
Yep.
So what do you got? So
So
it's a first down.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So now you move the chains forward, fine, but the ball's going to go backwards.
15 yards, yeah. So first, it'll have a first down, but 15 yards further back.
First down for Framingham.
Everyone's
Do you think
gonna
the
be super
do you think
confused
the
about
coach
this.
knew that it was a first down to
I think that
to
was
give a
his
little
argument.
extra?
I don't. I agreed with him.
Yeah.
I do think that Framingham got the first down.
But there's no harm in bringing the sticks out just to confirm.
Sure. All right. So there you go. Going to be first and a mile.
First and a mile. 6 minutes 22 seconds
First
left
down and 25.
on the clock for the third quarter here.
Guys on the chains are a little confused. Keep the chains where they are. That
Yeah,
change
yeah,
goes
they gotta
from the
stay
40
there.
to the 50, right?
Yeah, it's just the
chains
ball
should-
marker moves.
Yep. They'll get it squared away.
Yeah, hopefully.
I don't know. Well, they're discussing it.
Well,
Hold on. They're still discussing what to do here, and as of now, those chains have been moved back, which is interesting. If I'm Brad, I'm asking the question.
yeah. Yeah, I thought it would be obviously
So I mean, the result
I
of
thought they would stay where they
this
were.
is where you got to crack the rule book open and get the letter of the law.
Correction that by rule, it will be first and 10 as the chains will move to the 25-yard line as well.
Look at
I mean,
Jay. Jay
first and 10.
got the rule book down.
Apparently,
I love
yeah. Jay brings his rule book with him.
it. Rule 22B
Let's see.
_C.
Hold on a second. They're still talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, in my mind, there
So
you
maybe
go.
Jay flagged
They
it.
got to move.
Yeah.
They got to move the chains forward because
They're
it
having a
was a
conversation, yeah.
first down,
Yeah.
which established the new line of scrimmage at that point. And then you roll the unsportsmanlike back. We'll
So
see
they're
how
gonna have a
they play this out.
conversation.
They're sticking with what they got right here.
It's not often you get a
I know Brad's trying to get an
yeah.
explanation right here.
not often you
He's
get a
like-
personal foul when the chains are coming out.
Well,
But
what do
the
you
chains
do?
are going to stay.
He's not happy,
No.
right? And I understand this. I mean, we'll
Yeah.
get an explanation at the end of the game.
Yeah.
The officiating crew is talking to Brad, and at this point, it's just like, all right, let's make some stops.
Maybe we get an explanation.
Whether
on-
it's
on-
first and 25 or first and 10, got to make some stops.
Maybe we get an explanation on the mini mic, post-game mini mic.
There you go. All right. So this is a unique one. All right, now the head official is going to come over and chat with Brad and try to explain it. I mean, he's not happy.
Nope.
Understandable. But, you know, at this point, 28-6, 6:11 to go in the third quarter. It's like, let's just play.
Got to give a shout out to John Chisholm, the offensive line coach down there next to Brad. When I worked the Norwood game with Eddie Hickey, he said John Chisholm is the Dante Scarnecchia of high school football.
Wow.
And so he's been doing this for quite some time.
That's
Westwood
high
lucky to
praise.
have him, and he's done a spectacular job with the offensive line. Silva looking up the far side on a great pass, a beautiful catch.
Silva complete.
Connected with Eli Rosen on a flat route for a gain of about 8.
I think this is where the benefit of a replay would help, but I think that Charlie Toole was out there, and he's a tall kid.
Yeah.
So to get the ball up
Got
and over
over his
Charlie,
head.
you know, you had to put a little bit of a
Yeah.
lollipop.
Yeah, over his head, but also enough to not make it a difficult catch for the receiver.
Yeah, it was good. Very nice job.
Throws a good ball.
So, hey, look where we are.
Yeah.
This is
Right
literally
back.
where we just were.
So 2nd down and 1. Ball on the 34. Silva gets the snap. It was an option play. Looking for a receiver up top. And Drayton able to get a hand on that. It was in the hands of the intended receiver, bobbled a little bit, and then we got a flag on the field too. So
and that's going to be a roughing the passer
roughing
call.
the passer on Westwood.
On a 2nd and short.
Yeah, that's not the penalty you want if you're head coach Brad Pindell.
So on that play, you mentioned it, very good defense. Could have gone either way.
Yep.
I think the receiver had his hands on the ball, could have pulled it in, if not for a very strong breakup there by Drayton down the field.
Yeah.
I didn't see, obviously wasn't watching the backfield,
Yep.
so I didn't see the
I
roughing
didn't
the
see it
passer.
either,
We were
yeah.
both watching the ball. 5:14 on the clock, 28-6.
1st and 10, Framingham from their own 49-yard line.
Like to see some pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
See some blitzes as well. You know, in the gaps, kind of what like they did at versus Ashland, where you threw the timing off on a lot of these routes. It's gonna be 1st down. Ball right around the 50. Silva's gonna roll to the left. O'Malley making it difficult, and he's gonna force a throw on the far sideline.
Yeah, another good job getting rid of the ball. That is not easy to make sure it gets out of bounds.
No.
2nd and 10.
It's a good job. Got into the backfield pretty quickly. Put some pressure on Silva. Forced Silva to throw that away.
Oh, we got another flag. A flag just came in from the ref behind the Framingham huddle, and we'll see what the call is here.
Unsportsmanlike on Framingham.
It is an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Framingham.
So that clearly was either from the bench.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like it, though, because we're getting an explanation
He's talking
to
to
the coach,
too.
right? The coach is asking where that come from. So all I can tell you is that the referee was standing behind the offensive huddle.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, we saw a flag come.
Some of these too, that like players get a you can only have 2 of them too. So I'm sure they're also mentioning, you know, this is the first of, you know, if this happens again, you get a disqualification for the player.
From their own 34-yard line.
So it's going to bring up 2nd in a long distance, 2nd in a Walmart. About 5, 10, 15, 20 or so yards.
Wait, you got to
25.
explain that. I don't know that reference.
You
what
don't
does
know?
that mean?
So I say it in golf when I outdrive. I'm at my brother by 100 yards, and I go, you could fit a Walmart in between my drive and your drive.
Wow, there's
Yeah.
a humble brag from Morgan Donahue.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
Well, when
you just caught some friendly fire.
That's like Charlie. Charlie's the one who cares about the drives. Matt's
Okay,
just
all
you
right.
know, having fun.
Okay.
But yeah, Charlie he likes to think he hits the ball long until his younger twin brother by an hour outdrives him by a Walmart.
Plays the big dog, and then all of a sudden he's in the big leagues.
Brought down by Mario Vinci.
Vinci on the play there. He's going to bring up a 2nd down, or 3rd down now. So 3rd and 25.
So wait a minute, is this every drive? Is this pretty consistent? Do you guys go back and forth? What happens?
I typically outdrive him by like 5 or 10, but every now and then there's a Walmart distance. And
Hold on, wait. Hold on, I just got a call. Charlie's in the weight room.
He actually did call me about 5 minutes ago. Boy, that I had to hit the side button on that. But yeah, he wants to have a word, I'm sure. So it's 3rd down and 23.
I think Jay Reacher just came over to feel a little bit of the
Feel
heat.
a little heat, absolutely.
You know, this is where, when I covered the Lions, John Kitna told me that Mike Martz had a play in the playbook for this situation.
For the 3rd and 25,
Yeah.
huh?
The Lions were in a lot of those situations. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you should be prepared.
I remember
right?
a lot of those Thanksgiving games, and that allowed them to be able to draft Megatron.
It did, yeah. And that was interesting because it was the 3rd consecutive receiver they'd gotten, right? They got Charles Rogers, then Roy
Charles
Williams,
Rogers,
and then they got Megatron. It's like, do we get another receiver? But it's one of those things that you get the best player, no matter how bad it looked at the time.
Is that Matt Millen at the time who was drafting them?
Yep. So he got Megatron.
And then you also had the kid Drew from Michigan.
Drew Stanton.
Stanton
That was the same draft.
Yeah. Ooh, a high snap, but collected by the punter. It's going to be a short kick,
Good bounce.
but a good bounce. It's going to work its way inside the 35.
So those of you who are into this kind of stuff, go search Drew Stanton's career earnings on Google. That's a guy who made a career, a very long career, out of being a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Who was a great teammate, had flashes.
Yeah.
Right? The
Yeah.
perfect backup quarterback in the NFL, and made so much money. which is more power to him, right?
So I'm also thinking about who's the guy that Henson. Drew Henson. So he had a little quick time with the Lions as well.
Yeah, that was minimal. That was at the end.
Yeah.
He just never was able to figure it out with either one of the sports, right? There was so much expected as a
athlete.
baseball player.
Yeah.
And then he was the one who really held Brady back as the starting quarterback in Michigan because there was so much pressure to play Drew Henson.
Yeah.
Let's talk about these guys, though.
Yeah. So Pindell with the snap. He's looking up at the top of the field, and just through the hands of Drayton. That was a terrific throw. Caught him in stride, and a great play by the defensive back, able to knock that out of Drayton's hands. And Drayton shows some respect to the defender. He knows how difficult that is as a defensive back himself.
Do you recall when you were in high school, like, who were the NFL players who you idolized? Because I'm trying to think of this day and age. Who are these guys trying to emulate their game?
Yeah, these are like the Lawyer Malloys, the Ty Laws.
Yeah.
You know, this is the early 2000s.
So what's the equivalent of that now? Who are these guys looking up to?
I mean, like Gonzalez for the Patriots. How do you not look up to him, what he's been doing in the defensive backfield? Pindell working it towards the near sideline.
Nice.
Connects with Toole. Toole with a nice move. Able to juke the first player and then taken down at the 45 for a big gain. That's a 20-yard gain for the Wolverines. It was about 10 additional yards after the catch to get that all the way down to the 45-yard line.
Great job by Ty. Fantastic slippery moves by Toole. And, I think about, these guys are what, 17, 18 years old, some of them 16.
Yeah.
I mean, Patriots haven't won in 5 years. So when you do the backwards math, I mean, they were 12, 11, 10, right? So very early memories of the tail end of the Patriots' excellence. They hopefully they have those memories. We take them for granted.
We do. Because we knew some bad teams for a long time, and a perfect call for a screen pass,
Good
but
breakup.
broken up by Framingham and going to be incomplete. Going to bring up second down.
2nd and 10.
So there's still, these guys are probably, and think about it, the guys who are in 7th and 8th grade, they're probably not hanging on to Gronk and Brady and Edelman and the people who were on those championship teams in the 2017 and 2019, and then they went again to the Super Bowl in 2018. But from like the broader perspective, the quarterbacks that you see across the league, from Tagovailoa to Jalen Hurts, and of course Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's who they'll probably be talking about.
I mean, they're getting the Patrick Mahomes haircuts.
That's
He's famous.
right.
Pindell is able to evade a couple rushers.
Nice.
Passes it to Donegan. Donegan catches it and gets a few extra yards. Ref is spotting it close towards the first down marker. We'll see if it
Out of bounds near the 36-yard line.
gives them the first down. We'll see.
Rolling it.
And a little short.
What I love about getting to know this offense a little bit better and talking to Brad is gaining a better appreciation for how, to me, the offense is pure in that it features everybody no matter what the position is. The one thing he doesn't really showcase is a tight end, but he's got a running back. He can run with power. He spreads it out. Quarterback with an arm. I love watching this team play.
I'm going to false start on Westwood, but it might have where they drawn off. We'll see.
But what's interesting is in high school, you don't necessarily see a lot of tight ends because the guys haven't developed that kind of body yet, right? So there's not a lot of offenses that are going to, keep a guy in tight who has the size of an offensive lineman but has the hands of a receiver.
O'Malley has that.
Yeah, he'd be probably the closest.
But Donegan's an interesting tight end. He kind of reminds me of like the flank tight ends the Patriots used to have.
Yeah, he's more of a slot, right? To me, he's a guy who's in the Welker mode. He's probably the Edelman of this team. He'll go across the middle and catch the grind balls.
It's the opposite where when you have a linebacker covering a running back, you love that matchup. But a tight end, you want a defensive back to cover them because they're just not big enough to be able to go up and get it the way a tight end does. So those will create great matchups when you have them in the slot. Snap to Pindell. He's got a pass rusher closing in, and he gets rid of it quickly. So smart play by Pindell. He saved about 7 yards getting rid of that ball. It's going to bring up fourth down, but Westwood in kind of that sweet spot for their fourth down territory where they've been converting a lot all season.
Yeah, no hesitation. They're going for this one right out of the chute. You got 1:34 on the clock in the third quarter here. So if you don't get it, you're giving it over at about the 40-yard line. Give your defense a shot. You're sitting on a pretty good lead. If you do get the first down, you can basically run the clock out and get to the fourth quarter.
We've seen a lot of Charlie Toole conversions on fourth down. It almost seems like fourth and Toole. But you know what? Wolverine's been using a lot of weapons here. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Rose. Rose in the backfield has had a big pick up on the screenplay. And you got, and looking in the box, you got guys coming. They got 4 or 5 guys coming. He's looking deep.
Good pickup.
He's looking for Warren, but intercepted by the safety over the top, which
Morgan,
essentially is a punt.
Yeah, if you had sent a punter out there and told him to kick the ball and down it on the 2,
that's
you
what
would have been
wanted.
pleased with that, right?
Yeah.
So in many ways, he should have dropped it, right? So if he drops the ball, knocks it down, Framingham gets it
Yeah.
where the ball was. So that's a learning moment for
sure.
the defensive player in that case. But when you're on the Wolverine side of things now, it's aggressive pressure, right?
Yeah.
Are they going to try to throw the ball? How are you going to clog the run? And can you, put some points on the board defensively?
Absolutely. You're up 22. You got 1:26 on the clock left in the third quarter. This is where you really want to begin to start closing. Good teams close games. They not just win games, they close it. Part of closing that is getting the ball back, getting the run game going, getting time taken off the clock, and being able to control the game. When you're down like this, you have to go up against the other team and the clock. So if Westwood has
Ran the sneak last time.
the advantage, they're looking to bring it up the middle. Look, they're going
They
to say
get the
ball
ball?
on the ground. Ball loose. See if we can get a confirmation.
Nope.
No, so
Framingham
we're going to
ball.
stay with Framingham.
So, it's funny, Morgan, you remember things like this. The first ever time I intercepted a ball, I was like 8 or 9 years old playing Pop Warner football. And I was thrilled beyond belief. My first interception, right? Besides what you do during recess at school. And it was on 4th down. And my teammate, who was older and bigger and stronger, he came up to me and screamed at me. He's like, "Why did you knock it down?" And I was like, "Oh, I felt so stupid." But you learn. You got to go through those moments.
Small things too, Tom. Is a college coach told me, don't bat it with 1. You got to do 2. You can easily miss on batting it with 1.
Yep. Or it could tip up, as we saw in the Commanders-Bears game
That was
this year.
incredible. Silva gets the
Look at
shotgun.
this.
He's
Look at
just
that.
going to throw it up the top. What a beautifully thrown ball. Did he catch that? No, incomplete.
Yeah, that was great.
Beautiful
that's
ball.
a long way. That was all the way to the sideline from the back of his end zone, and that landed at about the 30. When you add that all up, you're talking about 40, 45, 48 yards in the air.
Terrific coverage. You have 3 Wolverine players on all of these deep balls, and Donegan doing a good job over the top, getting over there. That's Ed Reed type stuff. When you see Belichick talking about how Ed Reed being able to get over the sideline on a deep ball from, basically the exact middle of the field.
All right, so I'm older than you. So my guys, right? We
Yeah.
talked about your guys.
Yeah.
So I was a Giants fan, so I obviously had those.
McConkey.
Phil McConkey.
Sims.
Loved him. Yeah, the whole crew.
Diassi.
Joe Morris.
Yeah.
Diassi was the long snapper. A little bit later, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't on that 86 team. But from a league perspective, Walter Payton, Eric Dickerson.
Yes.
The quarterback class of 83 I saw, grow up and become studs.
Marino,
was a
that
stud
year,
right away.
Elway.
Elway was my favorite.
Yeah.
Elway was my.
Silva's got some room.
Yeah, you saw John
Nice
Elway do some of that.
gain there. That's about to, he'd make Elway proud with that 20-yard run.
Before Peyton and Brady and Mahomes, really, I would argue that Brady was. I mean, not Brady. Elway was my top, even over Montana, and that probably. There's going to be many people who argue, but for me, it was kind of like I thought Montana was in such a system, right? And Elway
West
carried
Coast
his
offense.
team,
Yeah.
and he carried him on his back, and he was so good, and I was so happy that he got the 2 championships at the end because he deserved them.
You think that guy wanted it when going towards the pylons and taking that
The
helicopter hit?
I was at that game.
Were you really?
Oh yeah, that was
Oh,
right
my
in front of me.
God.
That was at Jack Murphy Stadium or Qualcomm Stadium in
And
San
that was
Diego.
versus the Packers?
That was against the
Packers, yeah. I remember.
Great
I
Super
think it was
Bowl.
4th grade.
Oh, see, crazy. Oh,
Get over the outside. Able to make a couple moves. Tackled by, looked like McGregor. So McGregor with a nice play there for the Wolverines. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 4. So how was Dickerson back then? He was a heck of a college player.
When he came out of SMU, the SMU team had both Craig James and Eric Dickerson.
Played for the
which,
Patriots.
they called the Pony Express, and it took some convincing for me to to honestly think Craig James was good. And for Patriots fans here, they'll remember that he had an incredible run.
Yes.
Most notably in the run to the Super Bowl in '85, where the Patriots played the Bears. So he earned his stripes locally here.
Yeah.
But in that regard, you asked about Dickerson. He immediately, when he was a running back with the Rams, was insane.
Incredible.
If you want to see how fast he was and how explosive he was, just go to YouTube and search Eric Dickerson Jets Shea Stadium. If you do that, and you can see a clip, first of all, of the Jets playing at Shea Stadium, which
That's
is
incredible.
unique, right?
Yeah.
And then the Rams making the trip to the East Coast and playing the Jets at Shea Stadium, which was also rare. And then you saw Eric Dickerson like shot out of a cannon.
So you
He
might
was
know this
phenomenal.
running back because I went to prep school after Westwood for a year to play sports, and one of the kids I went to prep school with, father was a running back, but for the Jets back then.
Oh, can I guess?
Yeah.
All right, so what years we talking?
We're talking 80s.
So, listen, you got Freeman McNeil.
That's
You
him.
That was him?
That was him.
Freeman McNeil out of
His
UCLA.
son, Luka.
He was phenomenal. I didn't know that you
Son
knew his
Luka, he
son.
was a tremendous lacrosse player.
Yeah, man, Jets were
Played
a
at
fun team to
Hofstra.
watch in the 80s, too, because they, particularly the year of the strike,
The
that was
sack
probably their best
exchange.
year. Yeah,
New
they had
York with,
Gastineau, Klecko,
yeah.
Marty Lyons.
Yeah.
Who am I missing? Klecko, Lyons, Gastineau, Abdul Salam.
Yes.
That was the fourth one.
Silva, option play. He's going to keep it himself,
Oh,
looking
pick
to
that
throw
off.
on the far near sideline, and well defended. Drayton and Donegan there. Incomplete pass.
So the Jets back then, Patriots weren't good.
Yeah.
Right? And there were some down years. And so the Jets had Richard Todd as their quarterback, and they actually made a run with Freeman McNeil as their
Yeah.
running back. And then they got beaten in a absolute mud bowl in the AFC Championship by the Dolphins. And that's when the Dolphins ended up going
and
to the
here's
Super
another thing.
Bowl.
Went to that prep school. There was a 72 Dolphins player. His son I went to school with as well.
Oh, come on.
I'll give you offense.
Offensive player for the Dolphins in 72. I mean, big name like Mercury Morris? Big?
No, but big enough. Tight end.
Oh, tight end. Oh, Jim Kick?
Nope.
Oh, tight end. We'll get back to that.
Yes.
Cue the Jeopardy
So
music.
3rd and 4. Silva going to hand it off. Tackled right at the line of scrimmage by Westwood.
Fantastic tackle.
Vinci, as well as Rose on the play. Who's
Joe Rose.
No. First name Jim.
I don't know. Jimmy Cephalo, but he was a receiver.
Jim Mandich.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Part of that 72 team. His son.
Jimmy Cephalo was on the 72 team. Tom, come on, dummy. I was all of a sudden thinking again about the 82 team.
We had Tom on the podcast, and I feel like I got a decent enough kind of sports knowledge, and tried to see if drop a Joe Dudek on him. He was ready. He was like ready for the past 10 years for that question. It was impressive.
It's not about what you know; it's about when you can use it.
Yes, exactly.
What is that? We got a little movement here.
Wolverine's able to.
It's one of those offsides on everybody.
Yeah, and everyone's pointing. It's almost like when you hear the official offsides on the whole offensive line except the center.
That's exactly what that penalty was right there. So what I love about the podcast you guys are doing is I'm learning so much about these teams I didn't know. What a fun time for you to be here when you were in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, who wasn't good? I mean, you guys had such a great run with teams all across the board having some success.
So many natural leaders. What I really love about bringing some of these athletes on is they're also like successful in their professional life. And a lot of what is carried over in the professional life came from their playing days.
Yep, Lindsey Hallion Miller talked about that with you. How
Tearing
sport
an
has
ACL.
served me well.
Yes. And, to also tap into that winning mindset. If you can learn a couple things about how people prepare for games, how they, what's their game day like, also being a good teammate, invaluable stuff. So 4th down. Silva with the snap's going to hold it, and he's passing on it was a post route, but they're going to throw the flag there on the contact. Was it contact, maybe possibly the head?
It's after the play.
After the play, yeah.
I think he's, you don't want to speculate. I don't want to say much.
I don't either, yeah. Hope the player there is okay. We'll take a quick break here, folks, and we'll be right back in a little bit.
Westwood High School Sports, brought to you by Cadillac of Norwood, where luxury meets performance. And Arch Orthodontics, creating generations of beautiful smiles with expert orthodontic care.
Welcome back, folks. Thank you, Arch Orthodontics, and thank you, Cadillac of Norwood. Good to see the Framingham player up and walking off the field.
Big relief, and we didn't want to speculate, but now I feel comfortable saying that was most likely I got the wind knocked out of me moment, which is one of the scariest moments you could have. You slam your back, or in this case, you get a hit because obviously there was a penalty of sorts.
Yep. It takes its time to get your wind back. You know, it's scary, and you know, you also think there's damage done. It's a scary experience.
So the penalty, which was assessed, gives Framingham a first down, and that was a post-play.
Yep.
It wasn't pass interference.
Yep.
It was an illegal personal foul hit.
So first down. We got 10 minutes, 11 seconds on the clock. Fourth quarter here. Framingham's going to have the ball on the 43-yard line, 44-yard line.
First and 10, Framingham from their own 44.
Silva in shotgun. He's got running back set off to the left. Two receivers down low, one receiver up top. Takes the direct snap. Vincey looking to chase him down. He got another Westwood player and just missed on an interception was Jessup over the top. But a great job by McGregor, McDonald, and Vincey putting the pressure on Silva.
There were a lot of narrowly missed things there, right? There was a narrowly missed sack, and there was a narrowly missed interception.
Credit to Silva. Very evasive.
Yeah, no, I give him a ton of credit. You can tell, for better or worse, he's probably had some experience this season eluding rushers. So he kind of knows what to do when he gets outside of the pocket, and he knows when he's got to get rid of it. He's done a very good job getting rid of the ball tonight.
Yeah. Smart, high IQ. He knows where he's got to get rid of it. Not just getting rid of it, but where to do it. You don't want to take any intentional grounding penalties where you lose it down and you're also moving the ball back. Second down and 10. Ball on the 44. Tight end in motion. Rosen. Snap to Silva is throwing a deep ball. And able to make the catch was the tight end Rosen. So Rosen goes in motion. He went down about 50 yards, able to get his hands on that catch. And big play for Framingham.
Yeah, play of the night for Framingham right there. And actually similar to one we saw in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Where they were able to convert a really long pass.
Yeah.
This one was different. I think the first long pass, there was just a mix-up in coverage, and the ball kind of came back inside, and the receiver got there. This was execution start to finish, beating double coverage.
It's a perfect throw. I mean, that's the thing is it was decent coverage. You can't defend a perfect ball in football.
Geez, that was really well done.
Put that right only where that receiver could catch it. And you know what? Kudos to Rosen. Made a difficult catch. So we first down. Ball is right around the 10. Silva looking to pass, trying to get away, but taken down by McDonald. Again, McDonald with another sack for the Wolverines. About 3 on the day.
That'll change the tone, right? So instead of having the ball on the 12-yard line, chance to get a first down before a touchdown, you're pushed back immediately, and suddenly you're facing second and 20.
Such a big strength to have where you can get them in these long pass situations because of big plays on sacks. Part of it too, Tom, coverage sack. There was nothing to work with there.
Nothing at all.
Terrific job by the Wolverine secondary.
That's always fun. Now, when you had that happen for your team, is that something that would be recognized post-haste? Like when you're watching film, is that something that the coaching staff gives you a little shout-out? Oh, so you don't get the love like that?
No, it was only interceptions or pass deflections.
All right.
Yeah.
I think you deserve more.
Yeah. No, it's hey, if I could go back in time, I would mention it. Silva is going to try and get rid of it up the middle. Threw it behind the intended receiver, and that's incomplete.
Well, we talked about cornerbacks, shut down cornerbacks. I mean, obviously, Deion Sanders is this generation knows him more as a coach, which is crazy.
Yep.
But what he was able to do as a shut down cornerback, I mean, you don't go to that side of the field like Darrell Rivas. Right? There's very few people who are like that, where they don't get the stats because they don't get the opportunities.
But how about guys like Deion? A corner and a punt returner, you don't see those really anymore.
No.
Also like Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
Charles Woodson, winning the Heisman Trophy as defensive player. I mean,
insane.
I feel like every good player I say has some Michigan tie, Tom.
Yeah, I know, he was insane in '97. Got a funny story about that when he won, though. Hold on.
Pass play on the far side. Is the receiver able to come down with that? I don't see any confirmation. No, so
No,
incomplete
it's
pass.
Okay, so
Silva looking for the receiver outside, incomplete.
we got 4th down and 21. So that the year is 1997. The finalists for the Heisman Trophy include the two top front runners, which are Charles Woodson, who had a heavy push because of the going both ways thing, primarily defensive player, but he beat who?
Randy Moss.
Peyton Manning.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So really, I mean, Moss was there, and he always talks about how he was so overwhelmed by being there in that presence. He
The
certainly
sunglasses.
he certainly deserved to be there.
Yeah.
But it was Ryan Leaf, Peyton Manning, Randy Moss,
Yeah.
and Charles Woodson. And so Peyton Manning finishes second.
Yeah.
And Don Shane, we've mentioned him a couple of times. He was there covering it because, Woodson was a Michigan guy.
Yeah.
And he said Philip Fulmer was so pissed. He was the head coach
Yeah,
of
for
Tennessee. And
Tennessee.
he was so upset. Don saw him in the bathroom after the announcement had been made. Not happy.
No, I don't blame him. But you know what? Anyone could have won that. Even Moss and wouldn't have been disappointed. Silva gets rid of it.
Knock down. There
And
you go.
smart play there. That was Holland. Knocks it down. Could have been well intercepted. Knocked it down. Had the
Turnover on downs.
smarts to know about the situation where the ball was and just give the Wolverines the ball back and to go the other way. So Jack Holland, been very impressive at safety.
I give credit to Jack Holland in so many ways for how he played this year, how he handled last year with Devin, who earned the job as quarterback. And Jack was ready when his number was called. And he, at every turn, took advantage of it.
Yeah, I had head coach for the Westwood boys hockey team, Matt Siebert, on podcast, and he talked about Jack. Jack was the TVL Large goalie of the year, and it was his first year starting. So he took it and had a terrific season, expecting him to play very well as well for this season. Hand off to Rose. Rose is going to get a couple. And this is where Westwood really wants to start getting that clock to tick. This is where you really want to close out the game.
7:45 and counting here. So to your point, how creative are we going to get here, right? Is it going to be just run, try to finish it off, or is it going to be let's throw a couple of wrinkles in here to give some guys the opportunity to have some fun?
Yeah. We've seen it all. We've seen Westwood pass in these situations to get first downs, to then be able to run it again on first and second. But it's still early. Second down at about 6. We got a fullback in as well as a running back. They're going to toss it over to Senjik. Senjik running behind the fullback block of Donegan. He gets a good 8 yards, well earned there. Physical run.
Good athletes, and when you think about the younger guys who get the opportunity to come back, I don't want to start thinking too much about 2025 because there's still some significant football to play in 2024, but there's some talent, right? There's some
good
room
depth
for growth, and at this point after this season, experiencing what you did positively, hopefully it gives you the motivation to, hey, spend a little more time in the weight room, right? Start developing that body. They got a great weight program, and so many of the guys really dedicated themselves to it throughout the summer. So hopefully that's the case again moving into 2025.
For sure. They're going to stick with the same setup. Fullback set to the right. And they're going to pass here. So they were looking for a little option pass. They had Toole there open, but there was a little miscommunication on the position of the route. It's going to be incomplete pass. So let's bring up 4th down. It's going to most likely force Westwood to punt. It is. So they're going to send the punt team out.
So I've given you one YouTube assignment. If you don't recall, that was Eric Dickerson, Rams, Jets, Shea Stadium. Right?
Yep.
The other one that I just want you to check out, and honestly, I don't even know if this exists, but you mentioned Freeman McNeil before.
Yep.
Google Freeman McNeil or YouTube Freeman McNeil against the Bengals in the 82-83 playoffs.
Yeah.
Stud.
Is it like Googling Barry Sanders versus the Patriots?
No, Sanders was better, obviously, right?
Well, do you remember that game where he's just
course.
running around in
just
circles?
ridiculous. No, this was, I don't know, this is really wackadoo of me, but I remember that I think Freeman McNeil originally had more than 200 yards in the game.
Yeah.
And then they had one of those, like, post-haste after the game. Actually, we're going to take 4 yards away. So, like, just check it out, right? We'll look.
So another NFL connection, and this one actually comes to Westwood. There's a famous NFL athletic trainer.
Yes.
Mike Wojcik, Westwood High School grad.
How many Super Bowl rings does that guy
A ton.
have?
He got
I
a bunch
think
with the Patriots,
6.
won some with Dallas.
He won 3 with Dallas.
Yeah.
Right? I
And
think
he's
got 6.
And it all started at Westwood High School. His brother married to Nancy Fabiano, the first 1,000-point scorer in Westwood girls basketball history.
There's some stud former athletes and
Yep.
stud former trainers and current trainers.
Absolutely. I didn't know that till about 5 years ago, and I knew of him. How do you not when you see him in the team picture? Just a intimidating presence. Big run here for Framingham, able to get 10 yards and
Silva, the ball carrier.
they take it close to the first down.
Quick
Looks like
shot
they're
around by Brendan Senjik.
gonna mark him just short. Bring up a second and about 2.
We have been exceedingly lucky with the weather this year.
Oh my
Like,
gosh!
when you think about what it could be, where it's raining or
Yeah.
it's windy or it gets frigidly cold,
Yep.
that's always relative, of course, how cold it really is.
Yeah.
But we have
Second
been very
down,
fortunate
2.
to have very good weather on all of the games that we had the pleasure of calling. this
More
year.
fortunate for Tom Lydon to make it feel like September, mid-September
I get
here with the
second
heater in the
The
back.
second mention, I love it.
Feels
I
terrific.
guilted him into it.
Feels terrific. I'm ready to play 18 holes with this weather. Handoff.
Oh,
And
Mario.
Mario Vinci in the backfield for a tackle for loss.
Silva, the ball carrier, tackled in the back.
There was another player as well.
I think that's Tino, perhaps, Constantino.
Might be. Is he playing on the? I see Holland still in there.
Straight across, 49-yard line, number, I think, 8.
I see. I think it was
Is that
9.
9? All right.
9. Who's 9? 9 is. It's
Someone's screaming at the television right now,
Narrow
right?
what? Kemal Tapa Baboon.
Awesome. His sister was on the b-ball team.
Yes, she got nice shutout at halftime with the team. Oh, great play there. So
First
Westwood
time
getting
we've
some,
called his name
some
this
great depth
fall.
players in. But even the defense forcing some time to tick off the clock and allowing Westwood to help close this game out. I saw Will Sessamon getting some reps in there. It's great to see. He's over the top of the screen getting in on that tackle. That's going to be a first down for, who was
Might have
there?
gotten a flag. Yeah, we did. After the play, a flag
Yeah.
came in.
Silva, the
And
ball
that's on
carrier,
Westwood.
there's
It's
a
going to be
flag
on
the
Westwood,
play.
yep. So Vinci's going to come out. He's going to bring in 53 for the Wolverines. 53 is Kevin Doherty, senior.
Just the other day, we had the opportunity, and I'm not going to rattle them all off because, of course, I'm going to forget. Actually, I may not. I may know them all. But we had the signing ceremony.
Holding penalty.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
number
yeah.
of athletes
Yeah,
signed their letters
Wolverines.
of intent. All right, I'm going to try.
I can
All
roll
right,
for you.
it was Bridget Mulkeen.
Yep.
It was the DeMayos, Emily and Charlotte.
Yep.
It was Nazlillo,
Nazalillo, yeah.
Dante Martucci,
Yep.
Harper Morrison,
Yep.
and Lillian Golisarian.
Unbelievable.
Boom.
Look at you.
Rattled
That is
them off.
very
right?
impressive.
So congratulations to all of them who signed their letters of intent to play athletics in
Nice
college.
level.
Really an impressive group of senior athletes.
Great
and it's
leaders.
different now, right? Because
Yeah.
I was like, wait, today's signing day? You know, things have changed because this wasn't always signing day across the board, but it was pretty cool.
We've been able to call all of their games. We've called all of their names. Terrific leaders, terrific athletes. Framingham looking to pass it across the middle, and well defended by Drayton. Silva was looking to throw it across his body, and Drayton able to get a hand on that for an incomplete.
I mean, I like watching him play defensive back.
Yeah.
And I hope we
So
get to
natural.
see much more of it because I hope he likes playing it because he just has that swag to him.
He does, yeah.
And he's in high school the perfect combination cornerback, wide receiver.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
somebody who brings a little bit of attitude to the
Yeah.
game. And when he makes plays like that, he shows off his athleticism.
Kind of like that Henry. Was it? Who's the plays both sides of the ball for Colorado?
Oh, Travis.
Travis Henry, right?
No.
Travis
Hunter.
Hunter, yeah. Pass by Silva. Incomplete.
Hunter's
That was Holland on the
Hunter
defense.
is your modern-day Gordy Lockbaum.
Unbelievable.
Morgan Donahue.
Gordy, Holy Cross. Holy Cross. What a name. What a player he was, too. He did everything. He was playing, the punt returns as well. He's an impressive name.
Got to watch. Listen, when BC used to play Holy Cross literally there in Worcester. I mean, Doug Flutie, when he won the Heisman Trophy in 1984, his final game, actually the day he won the Heisman Trophy, they played Holy Cross in Worcester. And everyone's like, oh, my God, he's going to win the Heisman Trophy tonight. And they took a helicopter from Worcester to Manhattan.
No kid.
And then that night he was awarded the Heisman Trophy.
So Holy Cross almost beat Boston College last year. The close game. They fumbled it in, I think, overtime.
I don't know what you're talking about, Morgan.
The head coach of that Holy Cross team, Bob Chesney. Do you know where he got his start head coaching, Tom?
No.
The Salve Regina Seahawks in Newport, Rhode Island.
Seahawk pride for the alum to my left.
And you know where he is now? He's now the head coach of James Madison University.
Look at a very good team.
Yeah, so he's done a terrific job. Started at Salve, went to Assumption, then went to Holy Cross. Now the head coach of James Madison. Just a terrific example of working your way up to big-time football.
Yeah, a lot of times, looks like he's getting up. Yeah. A lot of times you'll see a coach kind of connect himself or herself to a coordinator who's above them, right? And so they'll just sort of graduate together. You know, I remember there was a guy who actually he was a high school coach, Mike Pettin, in Pennsylvania, and he became, we thought he was crazy, the video coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens.
Unbelievable.
But you know what happened to him there? He hooked up with Rex Ryan. And so when Rex Ryan became the head coach of the Jets, who did he bring with him to be his linebackers coach? Right? So it's kind of in many ways when you're coaching, like who you know and who you impress and who you work well with as a unit. And that was clearly the case in your case. Starts as a Seahawk.
It started as a Seahawk. He was a defensive coordinator at John Hopkins. And you know what was cool? He brought his dad down to coach with him.
That's fun.
Yeah. I think there's a relation to Kenny Chesney, too. I have to figure out the lineage. But we're going to get a fourth down and 3 for Framingham.
What's the relation to Kenny Chesney? You just kind of like floated that out there.
I've heard people say they were cousins. So, I just got to confirm.
I got a lot of cousins, too, Morgan.
Yeah, Larry Lydon, the legend.
Ooh, look at that throw.
The deep ball. And what a connection for the touchdown. What a ball.
Yeah.
What a throw.
That was great.
By Silva.
Really impressive.
Silva's pass complete to Williams.
33 yards on that one on fourth down.
Fourth down. He's thrown great balls all game.
So think about it. The last time they did that, they threw one down there.
Yeah.
And it was broken up on fourth down. But listen, Silva's stats, think about it, what they're going to be. He's probably going to be pushing 300 yards tonight.
And you mentioned the depth by Westwood. They got a lot of depth on Framingham. Framingham's had a tough season. They're playing tough teams. They're in a tough league.
I've got an assignment for the 2025 season. And actually, for the remainder of the 2024-25 school year, if there's a kid out there who wants to be our statistician, like we could use that.
Big time.
And it's a fun job where you can come in here and kind of keep track of the stats throughout the game. And instead of me saying something like, hey, he's going to have close to 300 yards, I'll be able to tell you he's got 291 yards.
Basketball as well.
Yeah.
You know, if we could have someone tell you the point totals, assists, all that stuff. Even milestones. We're going for 2. It's going to be close to the goal line. No signal yet, and no. So not able to get the 2-point conversion, which is going to keep it at 12. So Westwood 28, Framingham 12.
So Westwood Media Center does such a great job of giving people opportunities, right? Michael McGrail is here to our right tonight, doing a great job shooting this game. Thank you very much, Michael.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is that there are opportunities for our young kids to get involved. And, that could be your first opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, come hang with us and do some stats. It's just a great chance to learn something different, to be engaged in the production of a television broadcast.
Looks great on a resume. When you're doing these things, when it's easy to hang out with your friends, easy to, do whatever socially, with social life and whatnot, but to try and get ahead and get a head start to what your career is, like Michael's doing. Michael wants to be in media. He wants to be a part of broadcasting. He likes live, covering live, whether it's events, live games. That is so huge for your not only your resume, your college application. So when you're applying to, we got a onside kick attempt. It looked like it was more of just a little chip
It's fielded
kick.
by the Wolverines,
But
first and 10.
no harm, no foul. Wolverines got the ball, and they're going to have it with 3 minutes, 57 seconds left in the game.
So, Michael, we're trying to get you into college right now. That's what we're
Yes.
doing over here to your left. But Morgan makes a great point that the more you can do, the more involved you can get. Listen, try it. He may leave tonight and be like, oh, my God, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
But at least try.
Try
I don't
new
think that's
things.
going to be the case. But you try new things out. And if you like it, you're like, okay, I want to learn a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
So
Evan Cardamino, sports legend at Western Media Center, he went to video camp as a kid. So he knew early that he wanted to get involved with video and production and all that.
and look how good he is.
He's
right?
he's amazing.
He has the ability. And everybody there, we've talked about it before.
Every single one of them.
Melinda, Charlotte, Evan, and
Melinda
Marie.
has an Emmy. I think she's got a few Emmys for a lot of her work. Charlotte, amazing leader, amazing talent. She can do everything.
Coordinator, right?
Yeah.
You get. There's a lot going on. You got to coordinate it all. That's a good run.
That is a great run. 6 yards for the run by Senjik.
So creeping under 4 minutes here, 28-12. I mean, really, it's not crazy. It's a two-score game still. So
Yep.
what are you doing to just put this one away?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it'd be wild if they scored 16 points in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Highly unlikely, but
Yep.
it would also be nice to get a first down here and put it away.
Yep, exactly. And they're letting that clock drain a little bit before the play comes in.
So, assuming, should I do it at 3:30 with the clock running, up 28-12?
Yep.
Do we talk Holliston a little bit?
I think we can.
All right. So, the Holliston game, it appears, if things continue to go as they are,
Yep. Keep going. Keep going.
Senjik, the ball carrier.
third short.
Yep.
So, all credit to Holliston. They have gotten through unscathed in the TBL large, so
Yep.
they deserve where they are as the top dog. However, Norwood has one loss in the TBL large. Westwood has one loss in the TBL large, which means that if Westwood goes on the road on Thanksgiving morning and beats Holliston, now they're sharing, right?
Yep.
They're sharing the title. And there's something to it.
Yep.
You know, there's definitely, don't forget who won the title last year, the guys in green.
They did.
So
And
the Holliston kids are going to be very angry. They're going to be very vengeful.
Yeah,
They're
they
going to
will.
want to claim it.
Yep.
A solo championship.
they're going to do it
right?
on there. They're going to have the
They've
home crowd on their side.
Already clinched at least a tie,
Yeah.
so they know they're going to be hanging a banner.
Yeah, yeah. It's Dante Martucci said that was his favorite football memory when we talked to
There
him,
it
and
is.
that's a big first down
That's
for
a
Westwood.
huge
Senjik
first down.
gets the first down, and that's going to
Yep.
allow them to basically run the clock till go into victory offense.
Yeah, it's at this point, is Framingham going to take the timeouts?
Yeah.
They've got to.
Across the 40 to the
There's
39-yard
2:07
line,
and
first
running
and
at this
10
point.
Wolverines.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's been a while since I've had the chance to see a game in person. I spent the last couple Thanksgivings out in Detroit at Lions games, which
Yeah.
is great,
Yeah.
fun, a lot of fun. Not
Yeah.
doing that this year,
Good,
so
nice.
I think it's
Have you
in the books to
We got you in
make
the
trip to
02090.
Holliston.
Absolutely.
Check out that game, so it should be fun. Yeah, Dante.
Michael, what are you doing on Thanksgiving?
Michael, you coming to the game? Where are you going to be?
Go down to my cousin's.
Nice.
Okay, so
Nice.
we'll keep a text string hot.
Yeah.
We'll let you know what's happening.
I'm not ready for this to end, Tom. I'm thinking we find a tree or something at Committee
I
and
have the
Field.
binoculars.
Committee and Field. A
Uh-oh.
little confusion on the handoff there. Pendel just goes to take a knee to avoid.
But to that end, Morgan, as we approach the 1:15 mark, if you can't make the game on Thanksgiving morning, of course, the great people at Holliston put
Yes.
together their broadcast. You can watch it, but come on. This is one of those games that you got to get up, get out,
Yeah,
go.
you got to earn it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to go out there, bundle up,
We've seen,
get the hand warmers.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you got to get up, but it's worth it. It is nothing more special than Thanksgiving games. And then back in the day, the Mike Lynch recap. He would recap all the Thanksgiving games. I'd be sitting there waiting for our turn, and so proud to see Westwood up on the screen after some big wins.
Well, for those of you who've watched us doing these home football games this year, I want to say thanks, and of course to everybody at WMC and Morgan, who does such a great job, and everybody who shot for us throughout the year, and of course Evan Cardamino, who always sets us up technically. I'm very thankful, and thank you, Morgan, for letting me, be along for the ride. A great win tonight to wrap up the home season.
Absolutely, Tom. We'll have to figure out a winter sport to keep the get big game Tom involved somehow in the winter. But absolute blast this season. Big win tonight. Non-league game going into The next game being Thanksgiving in Holliston. So we will see you guys all again soon. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you all on the next one.